They try for number 9. Welcome to the Magic Kingdom, and we're not talking about Disney World tonight. The Arena, home of the red-hot Orlando Magic, where they have the NBA's best record. Tonight, the Magic take on the New York Knicks, one of 2 teams to beat Orlando this year. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ron Thulin. It was back on November 10th that Patrick Ewing hit a shot with just about 2 seconds left that handed the Orlando Magic their second loss of the year. That is the last time Orlando has lost this season. They have gone on to win 8 straight. Now, the New York Knicks, on the other hand, they have won 3 of their last 4 after losing the previous 3 of 4. Doug Collins is with me tonight. Pat Riley tells us today, Doug, that New York is not playing well, and he calls it a dilemma.
You know, I thought that Pat Riley was very candid with us today. He said his team is out of sync. A lot of reasons. Patrick Ewing missed all preseason with a knee injury. Charles Oakley's had a dislocated toe. They've had contractual problems. He's hoping to get that all cleared up. Right now, they're not playing great basketball. And we look, their opponents scoring 7 more points a game. Their rebounding is down. The average fouls are averaging 4 more fouls a game. We thought that would happen with the new hand check rule. And their opponents shooting 8 more free throws a game. All that has led to them being a struggling 7-4 right now.
Well, Doug, last year Orlando had a dilemma. Shaquille O'Neal was their leading rebounder. The next 2 were guards. That tells you something. Enter Horace Grant. Brian Hill tells us that problem has been solved.
Well, I'm sure the Anthony Hardaway draft really looks good right now. You've got a great point guard, and with Horace Grant, he's solidified the middle. He's given Shaquille O'Neal a sidekick, and you see what he's done on the boards. 5 more rebounds this year, 4 more offensive rebounds. Rebound margins +8. More importantly, point differential. They're outscoring their opponents 7 more points a game this year.
Well, Doug, I thought it was interesting today talking to the coaches. Pat Riley says we need to slow the game down. Brian Hill says we need to speed the game up. Who's going to win that battle?
Rebounding and defense always wins. That will decide who will control the tempo of this game. I look for Orlando to get it up and down the floor. New York must keep Shaquille out of the paint.
Well, no question about that. The players tell us today that this is indeed a playoff atmosphere. But New York has had the best of Orlando recently. They have won 5 of the last 7. And in 4 of those games, Orlando failed to score 100. Coming up next, Ernie Johnson, then back to Orlando.
The NBA on TNT is brought to you by O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer.
All right, Shaq and Patrick, the centers of attention as the Knicks and Magic get ready to run one at the Arena. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta with the Bud Light pop at the top. And we get it rolling with 2 other centers of attention. Cleveland's Brad Daugherty, who hasn't played since last February because of a bad back, will have surgery Monday to remove 2 herniated discs. He'll spend a few days in the hospital, then several weeks at home recuperating. There's no timetable set on when he might be back in the Cavs uniform. He has missed their last 46 games. Hakeem Olajuwon has only missed 2 Rocket games over the past 2 seasons, and it doesn't look like a sprained right wrist will keep him out of action tonight when Houston plays the Lakers. Hakeem posted a triple-double last night at Golden State, 37 points, 13 boards, 12 assists, but sat out the last minute and a half when he crashed into courtside photographers. A trip to the doctor's office this afternoon revealed the sprained right wrist, his shooting hand, but he's going to play tonight in L.A. Now that we're into December, let us take a quick look back at a few November numbers. 3 teams posted double-digit wins in the first month. Only Orlando in the East, Houston and Phoenix in the West. On the other end of the scale, Miami and Atlanta, playoff teams in the East, flirted with double-digit losses. The Timberwolves and Clippers did more than flirt. Talk about your long overdue bills. Blair and Fitch with 1 win between them in 27 November games. Now, Minnesota did chalk up its second win last night, and like win number 1, it came at an unlikely time and place, snapping Utah's 5-game winning streak in Utah. In fact, both Minnesota wins have come on the road against teams that had 5-game winning streaks, Golden State and Utah, both by 2-point margins. And, of course, tomorrow night in L.A., a game that only Dr. Kevorkian could love, 2-13 Minnesota taking on the 0-14 Clippers. Yeah, they lost again last night. Scalpers can take the night off. And that's a wrap for the Bud Light pop at the top. Highlights and bonus coverage at halftime, but straight ahead, back to Orlando. Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, Shaq and the Magic. Put down that clicker.
Seconds to go. John Starks from the baseline. Ewing got it!
That was on November 10th. Orlando with one last opportunity to tie or win the game. Anthony Hardaway's shot is off the mark. And New York hands Orlando their second loss of the year, their last loss, if you're an Orlando Magic fan. As we look at some of the season numbers, home team winning 9 of the last 11. What's ironic in that game is everybody expected the Knicks to call a timeout when they took it down the court, tossed it to Ewing. He hits the shot. New York wins. Now let's take a look at tonight's starting matchups.
Ron, matchup so very important. Charles Oakley will probably play Donald Royal. Horace Grant will definitely play Charles Smith, so they will not have to double team in the post. We know O'Neal and Ewing, and then Hardaway and Harper. Hardaway will try to post. Harper will try to beat him with penetrating dribble.
Pat Riley just moved into 9th place, passing John McLeod. Every season he has coached in the NBA, he has had 50-plus wins. And Brian Hill got a contract extension this year, a well-deserved one in his second season with the Orlando Magic.
Ron, I think very important tonight for New York to get off to a good start. Orlando is going to come roaring out of the gate. They usually have good first quarters, averaging 29 points in the first quarter. So look for them to get off to a big start.
Well, in the meeting between these two teams back on November 10th, the Magic found themselves trailing by as many as 14, trailed by 11 at halftime. Brian Hill told us today that cannot happen again. Shaquille, there's the points in the paint you were talking about, Ben.
And that was not a dunk. That was a beautiful jump hook. So you've already seen Shaquille O'Neal show part of the improved game that he is showing this year, averaging 31 points a ball game.
Wednesday versus Sacramento, Shaquille O'Neal was 7 of 8 in the first quarter. The rest of the team 0 for 9. Patrick comes right back with a hook of his own. Oakley keeps it alive.
Charles Oakley must be kept off the boards.
Derek Harper, in his 12th year out of Illinois, really came into his own second half of the season last year. Ewing, the pump fake, the glass won't get it. Patrick tries it again.
Pat Ewing has got 3 great shots at the basket, missed all 3 of them.
And Shaquille brings it up. Here's Donald Royal. His first game back after sitting out 3 following a concussion on a collision with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Another offensive rebound. This time Donald Royal tracks it down away from Charles Oakley.
New York 0 for 5 in the early going. Grant, the spin move right around Ewing.
You can sense the emotion in this crowd. Orlando loses the first game, a heartbreaking defeat. The next 3 games against these two teams will be in the Orlando arena. The Magic would like to be able to win all 3 of those. It's almost like a 2-game swing in the standings.
Ewing left open from 17. Oh my, almost puts a dent in the backboard. Nick Anderson revitalized this year for the Magic.
You can see how quickly Orlando wants to get the ball up the floor, Ron. Quick post-up for Shaquille O'Neal.
Derek Harper all the way to the hole for his first 2 and the Knicks' first 2.
Boy, this is a frenetic pace for an early season game. You can sense the emotion by both of these teams in this building tonight.
4-2, Magic lead it. We have played just about 2.5. Grant left open, the flick shot. He actually was a pass to Ewing, to O'Neal, and he is fouled by Charles Smith.
Now, that was a great play by Horace Grant. It looked like he had the open jump shot. Then he spotted Shaquille O'Neal on the weak side and just flipped it up to him. Shaquille O'Neal was able to gather it and get to the free throw line.
Well, Shaq, of course, everybody knows the free throw woes of Shaquille O'Neal. If you look at other scores, Ernie will update them all at halftime, but he has really improved this year. Shaquille hitting 63% of his free throws.
So vitally important for him to shoot free throws well, because we know he's going to handle the ball at the end of the games. And last year it was a 1-for-2 situation for him when he would go to the line. This year he's got to prove to teams that they just can't take fouls against him down, that they're going to have to play him straight up or double team him and force him to give the ball up, but they just can't keep fouling him if he'll go to the line and convert 75%.
Well, last year he was at 55%. He's improved that, and after the make, a little pressure shown by the Magic. Here's a matchup that the Knicks used to their advantage first meeting. Harper and Hardaway. Harper owned Anthony Hardaway. Now Anthony picks his pocket. To Anderson, to Hardaway.
Anthony Hardaway says his game is triggered by defense. We saw a little bit of it right there.
Oakley momentarily quiets the crowd. Oak averaging a shade under 13 a ball game. 8-4, Magic on top. We played 3 minutes of the first quarter. Doug Collins and Ron Thulin with you from the O-Arena.
Here's the post-up we talked about. The double team. Horace Grant will have the open jump shot. Boy, you can see right now, Orlando is really crisp. They're attacking New York in every area. Post-ups, jump shooting. They're going back defensively, kicking loose some steals. Right now, they're on top of their game.
There are 4 of 6 from the floor already tonight. Oakley settles for the jump shot outside. Smith with the position. Rejected, but we have a whistle, says referee Jimmy Clark.
Anthony Hardaway, 3rd in the league in steals. Knocks the ball loose, and he's going to give it up, and he's going to keep running. Nick Anderson draws the defense right back to Penny Hardaway for the slam dunk. And again, Penny Hardaway triggers this team defensively. He gets them into the running game, and he has become a complete player. You know, right now he's playing the opponent's point guard, which is a little bit different than last year because they had Scott Skiles. But he came into camp this year knowing he was going to be the point guard, and in talking to Brian Hill, he has felt that that has made a big difference in Penny's game this year.
Well, he took over the point guard position in February. He's even getting to play a little 2 guard, which in the long run really helps him this year, just switching back and forth as Smith makes 1 of 2. The lead is 5 for the Magic. Shaquille backs his way, drop step, doesn't get it, loses the handle, whistle, and a foul.
The foul number 32,
Shaquille O'Neal with his first.
That time New York decided to come back and double team. They had been playing him straight up, but Shaquille got good position. They came back, and as he tried to split the double team, someone reached in and knocked it loose.
That's such a problem when you play Orlando. Now, who do you double with? You're going to lose somebody who can shoot the ball open. John Starks has been struggling. Good pass inside. Oakley the reverse. O'Neal just slaps it. Starks, last one to touch it. Magic have the ball.
Now, what you saw in Charles Oakley there, Ron, is a guy who doesn't finish around the basket with dunks. And because of that, he took it to the other side of the basket, tried to use the rim to protect the shot, and missed a shot. Otherwise, you go up and dunk that basketball.
Well, New York 2 of 9 now from the floor, 2 of 10. Anderson off the mark. Grant keeps it alive. Royal touched it. Magic have the ball.
See, so many weapons here. I mean, Anthony Hardaway will post. Nick Anderson will post. They can isolate both of those players. Horace Grant on the offensive boards. Donald Royal just sort of cleaning up all the other stuff that's left. And then Shaquille O'Neal, their main weapon. I mean, this team is averaging almost 117 points a night.
They are number 1 in the NBA in scoring. Number 1 in point differential. Top 2 in shooting. O'Neal tries to force the pass into Anderson. Last touch by the Magic.
Shaquille is so used to being double teamed, it's almost like he's looking for it to come. It's not there. He's going to have to look for his shot and score to force them to come down to get the double team.
But from a guy that averaged twice as many turnovers as assists in his rookie year, he has consistently dropped it down, and it's even better this year. Just about 2 turnovers a game. Ewing over the back of O'Neal, can't come up with it.
Patrick Ewing starting off the game very cold, 0 for 5.
Horace Grant lost the handle, but we have a whistle.
Foul number 54, Charles Smith. His first.
The speed of Horace Grant puts so much pressure on your big players to get back defensively that they don't go to the offensive boards. You see Horace right here just beating Charles Oakley down the floor, and Ewing, we see it right there. He's ahead of both those players, and Charles Smith picked up Shaquille O'Neal, and he had to come over and give the foul. The speed of big people forces big players to get back down the floor, and it takes its toll in 48 minutes.
Well, Horace Grant last year, his first All-Star game. Had career highs in scoring and rebounding last season.
Let's see if we see another phase of Horace's game here. If he makes his free throw, let's see if they pressure up the floor a lot like they did in Chicago when he tries to help on the point guard.
Great job, Donald Royal, sneaking around both Oakley and Ewing to grab the rebound.
I told you he just cleans up what's left. He had 14 rebounds the other night.
Anderson backing down on Starks. It's going to be an illegal defense call. There have been a few of them called this year, Doug.
I knew there would be one tonight, so we had this statistic. Marty Aronoff came up with this last year. In 163 games, there were 162 illegal defensive violations. This year, through 155, there's 361. So double the violations this year with the new rule.
Ewing overplays O'Neal, comes up with the steal, tries to force it into Starks. Smith calling for the ball. Harper will set it up.
See if they get John Starks a shot. Nick Anderson is doing a great job of shadowing him.
Oakley to the hole, runs into Shaquille O'Neal. It's going to be a blocking foul on Shaq. That'll be his second.
See Oakley seeking a chest to jump into, and he draws the foul.
He is good at that. We have 6:40 left in the first. The Magic lead by 6.
This Sunday,
Don't kill me, brother. Never
Out like most guys do when they're 22. That's a scary thought. Donald Royal from the outside.
Now, Donald Royal 2 years ago, strictly a guy that took the ball to the basket. He can now make the 15-foot jump shot, and Orlando off to a great start here, leading 19-9.
Pat Riley wants to talk about it. 6 straight Orlando points. They lead it by 10. Their biggest in the game.
After all, you only go around once.
Alonzo Mourning, 21.5 points per game, 10.2 rebounds, 3.1 blocks, physical defense, excellent post-up, was Senate intern on Capitol Hill, praised by Fanny Freet, owns 70 suits, favorite TV show, video game, friends, music, cars, color.
Hey, TNT knows more about the NBA, because every Tuesday and Friday we've got more games, more teams, more players, more NBA than anybody.
Sings and shower, off-key.
Tuesday and Friday. Nobody knows the NBA like TNT.
get it all this weekend on TNT. Saturday, take a trip to Whoville. Sunday, journey to Jerusalem for a day of biblical epics. Saturday, 2 TNT specials. The TNT original In Search of Dr. Seuss at 7. And How the Grinch Stole Christmas at 9, hosted by Phil Hartman.
This is my favorite Dr. Seuss story.
Sunday, Solomon and Sheba at 2. King of Kings at 4:30. And the world premiere of TNT's Jacob at 8.
I have waited years for this day.
Great movies all weekend on TNT.
Well, the Magic have their biggest lead of the game with 4:14 left in the first. It is at 10 points at 19-9. And the center so far for both teams, Shaquille O'Neal getting better of the two right now. O'Neal checking in with 8 points. Patrick Ewing, how about a big 0? 3 rebounds, has not made a shot out of 5 attempts. And the Magic are really kind of pushing the ball around tonight. Good, unselfish play.
They're getting the ball up the floor quickly. They're getting good shots. They have 8 field goals. They have 6 assists on the 8 field goals. Everyone is involved. New York 3 for 13, 2 layups by Derek Harper.
Well, Anthony Mason has checked into the lineup, and this is a player that Brian Hill says gives his team problems.
Now they'll have to double team him down on the post when they play him with a smaller player.
Ewing from the outside, and he is settling for a lot of jump shots as he is 0 for 6 tonight.
He's gotten some good shots he normally makes. Just tonight it will not go at this point in time. He's got to keep shooting them.
Royal, every player you talk to says Donald Royal has one of the quickest first steps in the NBA. And when Donald has the ball, Doug, he's going to go to the hole. He's not going to settle for a jump shot.
Well, you're New York out there, and you say, wait a second, we got Shaquille, we got Anthony Hardaway, we got Nick Anderson, we got Horace Grant. And all of a sudden you look up and Donald Royal's going to the basket or he's shooting the open jump shot. So a guy like this can really be very effective just by playing in the framework of what they want to get accomplished and not doing things that he's not capable of doing. He's always been one of the league leaders in free throw attempts per minute because he drives the ball to the basket so quickly. And now with him making that little medium range jump shot, you have to honor it, which makes him even quicker going to the basket.
What a great story. A 3rd round pick back in '87 by Cleveland, played in the CBA, Minnesota, even played in Israel. And at the time there was a conflict going on overseas, and he even had to change his name, and he was going under Akeem while he was over there. Orlando on an 8-0 run. They've opened up a 12-point cushion. Ewing inside. Grant picked him up. Patrick takes advantage of it.
You see the versatility of Horace Grant, though. Now he's playing against Patrick Ewing to let Shaquille O'Neal take a little rest, maybe keep him out of foul trouble. So you see, again, what Horace Grant brings to this team.
Oakley went over for the double. Hardaway was left open. That is a 3 for Anthony Hardaway. That is his 10th 3 of the year in 33 attempts.
He's only shooting 28% from the three-point line. Last year at 32%.
Boy, John Starks, you have to wonder how you're going to get him a shot.
Well, Nick Anderson is not leaving him. He's shadowing him and is not even aware of anybody else on the floor. He does not want to let the explosiveness of Starks get going tonight. Look at this. Quick shots.
Jack had it, lost it. Starks tracks it down. The former Oklahoma State Cowboy leads the break. Almost lost the dribble.
He's going to shoot. You can see it in his eyes.
He doesn't get it.
He had shot on his mind from the moment he got the rebound.
He is just shooting 28% in the last 4 games, John Starks is. Averaging just 10 points a game during that time as he picks up his second personal foul. We are at a sold-out Orlando arena where the Orlando Magic are taking on the New York Knicks, trying to avenge an earlier loss this season. And right now, with 2:39 left to be played in the first quarter, the Magic up by 13.
The pace of this game definitely favors the Orlando Magic because New York just does not have the kind of offensive firepower to play at this pace. So at some point in time, they have to get the tempo in their favor. Now, Ron, how do you do that? You have to start making some shots so you can get your defense back. Missed shots means running for Orlando.
Well, Anthony Bonner checks into the lineup for the New York Knicks.
Now you can see what happened. As Pat Riley went to the bench and took out Patrick Ewing, Brian Hill said, well, I'm going to rest Shaquille O'Neal. So you want to keep those two players against each other as much as you can during the course of the game.
Herb Williams also checking in, and for the Orlando Magic, the man the players call the fossil, better known as Tree Rollins, third oldest player in the NBA, trailing only Robert Parrish and Moses Malone in age, at a very young-looking 39. Also the assistant coach for the Orlando Magic.
Now, New York's got to find some offense, either Mason or Stark. Someone's going to make some shots. Herb Williams not a scorer.
Now Penny Hardaway picks up. Whistle, foul away from the ball.
See, look at New York's team out there. Harper and Starks in the backcourt. Both those guys can score. Mason can score. Herb Williams and Bonner on the front line will not really score. Now Greg Anthony into the game, and he'll replace Derek Harper. So someone's got to give this team some offense.
Well, New York, Doug, is only shooting 24% at this point. Greg Anthony has shot well the last 5 games, about 48%, and no turnovers during that time. Mason, no double. Grant playing him straight up. Mason scores.
See, Anthony Mason is so strong in the low post. He's actually a power forward and a small forward's body in terms of size. Height, I should say.
Hardaway whips it inside to Horace Grant. A whistle, illegal defense. That'll be a technical foul called on the Knicks.
Anthony Hardaway will shoot the free throws. He's an 83% free throw shooter. Would be much higher than that, except in Boston the other night he had a 3-for-9 game at the line.
And he continues. Magic have the basketball with 2:02 left. 12-point lead. Royal will trigger the inbounds pass to Rollins.
Look in the post. Hardaway against Anthony. They're going to have to double team him or it's going to be death.
That's about a 6-inch type advantage, and he takes advantage of it. Penny Hardaway, 9 points in the game.
The NBA game is a game of matchups and mismatches. You must take advantage of them.
Starks in the paint. They want to keep him out of the middle, and he gets his first 2 of the ball game. Anthony Bonner thought he had it. Not quite. Now in the process, I think Anthony Bonner drop kicked one of our mics.
Once again, let's see if Hardaway tries to take advantage of his size over Greg Anthony. They're going to post Nick Anderson this time against Starks.
Everybody converges. Grant slashes to the basket. Royal tries to track it down, but the Knicks will have it with 1:26 left in the first half.
What I see with Orlando this year, too, Ron, is they're diversifying their offense more. Last year, I thought it went so much through Shaq that it became predictable. This year, they're using more of the weapons, and I think that's just maturing of a team.
And one thing Brian Hill said, he was concerned because they had a horrible preseason. Those are his words. Everybody was hurt. Better every game. Starks his drive. Tree Rollins gets a piece of it. Here comes Royal. He'll take it inside. Grant, great position on Greg Anthony.
Beat every big man down the floor from New York. Again, the speed and quickness of this Orlando team. You're talking about guys 6'7", 6'9", 6'11" that can all get out and run in the open court.
Well, if you think Orlando, this is a defensive fluke for them, you're wrong as Bonner has it slapped away. Rollins will be called for the foul. This is a team that back on November 23rd held Houston to 8 first-quarter points.
Now, Horace Grant gets down the floor so quickly. Look who's going to be playing him. The point guard, Greg Anthony. That's 6'10 versus 6 feet. That's a point-blank shot for Horace Grant. So it's a little bit what he did in Chicago. No plays run for him. Get down the floor, get to the point of the rim, front of the rim, and we'll get you the ball, or you're going to get an offensive rebound when they double team.
At the line will be Anthony Bonner. Knicks shooting just about 100 less free throws than their opponents this year. Well, the NBA and TNT will continue your way Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have the Houston Rockets and the Seattle Supersonics. Gary Bender and Hubie Brown will be calling that basketball game. That's Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, right here on TNT.
Ron, as they tip this ball up tonight, I could just sense the energy in Orlando. New York's had a couple days off. They've been down here. And I sense if they could put a good surge on, they could get themselves a lead. And they've done that. They lead by 13 with 41 seconds to go.
Bonner gets his first points of the NBA season. Just recently activated. Inside, Royal takes it strongly to the hole, and Horace Grant is there to clean it up, and Grant now with 10.
Now, Horace Grant is just laying the ball in the basket. That time, Herb Williams has to go over to help on the double team on the post-up with Royal. No one can get back to block out Horace Grant.
Not bad. 8 for O'Neal, 10 for Grant, 9 for Hardaway. As Greg Anthony, we talked about his shooting, hits the 3. He is 11 for 24 this year. Not bad.
He's shooting almost 44% last year at 30%. They need him to be able to make that outside shot with all the double teams they see.
Rollins, the fall away won't go. The tip by Hardaway won't go, but it was a great quarter for the Orlando Magic as they hold a 12-point advantage. Anthony Hardaway has a 3. He has 9 in the ball game. And as we head to quarter number 2, it is a 31-19 Orlando lead.
It's time for the starter. Get up and go. Our 4 lucky fans are graced.
This Sunday,
I'll kill you, brother, and never shed a tear.
God will put one man to the ultimate test. Matthew Modine stars in the world premiere of Jacob. Sunday at 8 on TNT.
Tuesday night NBA scouting report. Sean Kemp. True power forward. The defense worst nightmare. Defense, look it up. The definition is Hakeem. Rockets Sonics Tuesday at 8 on TNT.
Everybody limbo! Tonight's winner limbo's home with Bud Light.
Oh, really?
Lord. Oh, my.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Not low enough.
This holiday season, more people will trust Napa to keep their vehicles running and to help them save, too. Pick up this Napa toy truck with battery-operated powerboat for just $16.99. A 56-piece home tool set, only $29.99. And a Turtle Wax gift pack for a low $7.99. So stop by your nearest Napa Auto Parts store today. You never know who you'll run into.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
You a sports fan? Then you know what this is. All the games you're missing. How'd the Chiefs pull ahead? How'd Seattle blow out the Nuggets? Well, with DirecTV, you see the action, not just the scores. NFL, NBA, college, hundreds of games you probably couldn't get before. Games only on in other cities. Hey, you want numbers? Get a newspaper. You want sports? Get DirecTV. For your DSS 18-inch dish and DirecTV, see your RCA dealer.
Back in the arena at Orlando, Florida, as the Orlando Magic lead it by 12, 31-19. Doug, you said the Magic wanted to come out quickly. Is Frank Viola looking on? Not much to do these days. And also, should we do the Bryce Scheider now started Sequence, which is filmed here in Orlando. But they came out so quickly, and that's exactly what they wanted to do.
Well, Orlando shoots 12 for 19. New York 7 for 21. Starks and Ewing a combined 2 for 10. Ewing 1 for 7. O'Neal, Grant, and Hardaway 12 for 16.
Well, Anthony Even and Brian Shaw check into the lineup for the Orlando Magic. Bonner, strong move to a hole, doesn't get it. Shot clears the rebound. Shaquille has 5 rebounds tonight. He's averaging just over 11 a game.
Now you'll see Brian Shaw handle the ball a little bit to rest Anthony Hardaway, allow him to play off guard. So again, the versatility of this Orlando Magic team.
Anderson will launch it from 3, doesn't get it. Mason position on Avent for the rebound.
When nothing's coming easy for New York, Orlando back very quickly on the defensive end.
Bonner with a little bit of authority. He has 3 in the ball game. As you mentioned, this is his first appearance this year. Did play 7 preseason games. Shaquille can't believe it. Tipped away by Anderson. Shaw's got Hardaway in the corner. From the arc. Count it.
The turnovers are just deadly. And New York, early in the year, was trying to run. Their turnovers were at about 19 a game for the first 5 games. They've slowed it down. Their turnovers have come down. They are not a running team.
A whistle and a foul as Mason goes up strongly. Anthony Avent picks up the foul.
You know, Ron, I think in preseason, New York wanted to try to get some easy scores, and they came out, they were looking to push the ball up the floor. I think got a little bit of a false sense of who they were. This is a half-court defensive rebounding. You know, it's not going to look pretty, but when the end comes, they're going to be there standing, and that's what they do. They try to impose their will on you. They're not a team that's going to get up and down the floor because they turn the ball over. They just don't have those kind of players.
Well, Pat Riley was even getting into the flow of things today in the paper, saying he didn't think the Orlando Magic respected their team. He says, I don't think anybody in the NBA respects us anymore. And, of course, everybody had got a little chuckle over that in the paper today.
Yeah, even Brian Hill said, yeah, Pat's trying to play mind games with my team here.
Nobody bought it, though. Hardaway, the NBA Player of the Week this past week, in which he averaged better than 30 points a game, 32 points, 6.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, including a couple of 35-point performances.
See, Ron, I think to play against the Magic, you've got to find a way to pressure their guards. The problem you have is when you extend up the floor, you expose the basket.
Avent, the off-balance shot, finds the net.
Yeah, but it was all because of the double team on your point guard. You're double teaming your point guard in the post.
Anthony Avent is not known for his shooting, only 38% last year. Bonner, Davis cuts to the hole, uses the right hand, and the former Tar Heel can't get it.
They want to look to run on every opportunity.
Anderson used to be the go-to guy here, the first player the Magic ever drafted. Nice pass, Brian Shaw. Avent has it rejected by Herb Williams.
He had Penny Hardaway standing wide open in the corner behind him, tried to force the shot.
Davis, no place to go, just throws it away, and Pat Riley just walks away. 5th turnover for New York.
Good defense here by Mason to step in. And Anthony Avent here tries to force a shot up, and Herb Williams blocks it, but Penny Hardaway was standing right behind him in the corner, and he turned around and shoveled it to him. He just hit a 3 from that same exact spot.
Well, Donald Royal comes back into the lineup. Nick Anderson will sit down. Ewing back into the lineup. He is 1 of 7 from the floor.
Pat Riley looking for some combinations. I think he has a very high-energy team on the floor right now with Mason and Hubert Davis and Bonner and Greg Anthony to go with Ewing. Let's see if they can up the level of their defense.
Well, high energy this. 10 for Shaquille.
And that's his first dunk tonight.
387 of them last year. It seems like the spacing for New York is all bunched up, and a lot of the guards running the show don't know where to go with the basketball. They go to Ewing, only his second basket of the game, but you get that feeling, Doug, they're not quite sure what they're doing out there? Hardaway, Ewing gets a piece of it.
I think what happens, we talked to Pat Riley a little bit today, is for the last 3 days they've worked on execution and spacing. And when your outside shot is not going, you have a tendency to want to drive the ball to the basket. And you get people congested rather than keeping the floor spaced. And then when your outside shot's not going, then one sort of feeds the other. Now you start over-penetrating and taking tougher shots. You've got to continue to take the open shot and hope that at some point in time you start hitting it.
Hardaway makes the first.
But spacing is everything in this NBA game because of the illegal defense. You have to force people to go out and play on the floor so your best players can have room to operate. Without the spacing, double teaming is very easy.
Well, look, Penny Hardaway with 14 already. The biggest lead is now up to 15 points. Now Mason way out front. Avon giving him a lot of room. Anthony pulls it from 3. Royal had it and comes up with it. He throws it away. Anthony with the left hand, good-looking move from Greg Anthony.
You can see right now New York up the floor defensively. This is what they're trying to do now. Pat Riley's trying to scramble this game a little bit, and he has that high-energy group on the floor. Let's see if they can force him turn.
Penny Hardaway got away from Anthony Bonner.
Boy, that's a set play where they're overplaying the wing, and Penny Hardaway starts up quickly and just reverses, and Anthony Bonner could not get back with him. His feet went out from underneath him.
Davis's 3 won't find the mark. Hardaway sprints down court. He is 6 of 6. Shaw takes it over the timeline. Or when you double on Orlando, you pay for it a lot of times.
Look at the way they move the ball. Look at the way they move the ball. 4 guys on the floor touched it there. Hardaway passed up an open shot and gave it back to Donald Royal. That is an absolutely beautiful basketball.
This is very impressive performance by the Orlando Magic.
Anthony Hardaway with a nice back door. You see him. Bonner slips. Anthony Hardaway with a dunk. Remember that your point guard is 6'7", taking the ball to the basket.
The Hornets and the Rockets this Thursday at 8 Eastern on TBS.
You know, a lot of people who work on their cars will only shop at AutoZone. They depend on us for the best quality parts and low prices every day. They come in, get what they need, and then get back to work. Because you see, they believe if you want the job done right, you do it yourself. Well, at AutoZone, we couldn't agree more. Because when you take the time and the effort to work on your car yourself, you ought to be choosy about where you shop. We just thank you for choosing AutoZone.
The Magic lead 44-27, 7:51 remaining in the second quarter. Let's look at beautiful basketball now as Brian Shaw takes the ball to the basket. We're going to stop right here. Here's 2 players. That means this guy's open, so you move the ball. And it's okay, this guy's going to come here. Now that means this guy's open for the pass. So we're going to move the ball one more time. He's covered. You skip it and say, oh, this guy's got to get there. So he says, I'm going to go back to this guy, and he's going to get the shot. That's absolutely magnificent basketball. The defense scrambling, and Donald Royal hitting the open shot. That's why you shoot a very high percentage when you get those kind of open shots.
This is the banner of the night, folks. Knicks deserve no respect. With a little picture of Rodney. Donald Royal, 6 points, 6 rebounds. And I remember the book on Donald Royal was Give Him That Jump Shot. Here's a young man that's really given himself a jump shot just by hard work.
Look at the shooting, 17 for 26. And we're talking about ball movement, defense, rebounding, and also fast break points. Orlando 14-6.
This is a team, the New York Knicks, that have only given up 93 points a game in their last 6 contests, while opponents shooting just 43%. But tonight, they run into a buzzsaw. Patrick struggling, whistle, foul underneath. Body's being shoved. Joe Forte clears him out. It's going to be on Anthony Bowie. Illegal defense. That's their first illegal defense for him.
As Nick Anderson has taken a rest, Anthony Bowie is in the game now. His job, don't let John Starks get started. We've had him quiet. He's got 1 layup tonight in traffic. Don't give him any open jump shots. Make him work for everything.
Anthony Bowie out of the University of Oklahoma in his 6th year. They give Ewing the shot from 17, and Patrick makes good.
Starting to warm up a little bit. After missing his first 5 shots, he's now 3 for 9 from the floor. He's hit his last 3.
Now Shaw backing up on Anthony. A lot of time to shoot, 13. Shaquille just takes it quickly. Everybody thought that Patrick may have gotten a piece of his arm. Patrick has a step on Avon. Noticed it a little bit too late. He had it. It was there. And I think he was surprised as Avon got tangled up. But then we have a whistle and a foul.
I think Patrick Ewing a little surprised there. He thought he had a layup, and Anthony Avon goes up strongly and blocks the shot. Now, Anthony Avon is a shot blocker. The other night in the game, he had 4 blocked shots, so it's not like this is a guy that you don't respect when you take the ball up to the basket.
Replacing Greg Anthony.
You talk about the weapons that the Orlando Magic have. They have 44 points, and Shaquille's only taken 6 shots.
Not bad. Harper back in the lineup. Anthony out. Donald Royal strong to the hole again. Royal checks in with 8.
A guy who's been rendered ineffective has also been Charles Smith. He's been playing great basketball. They have not gone to the post with him. He has Anthony Aben playing him right now. Let's see if they can get him a shot.
There he is, trying to post up on the right block. Starks instead takes the three, and John Starks buries it. That is a welcome sigh for Pat Riley.
And I looked over and saw Brian Hill, and he looked at his face like, oh no, let's not let this guy get going. He's a guy that can throw up 5, 6 3-pointers in a hurry. Look at Donald Royals.
Talk to you about Donald Royals. Quick step, count the basket. That's goaltending on Patrick Ewing.
Well, while he was out with that concussion, he has rested his legs, but he is fresh. Look at the quickness going to the basket. You see Patrick Ewing tipping the ball when it's going down to the goaltending violation. Royal 4 for 6. He has 10 points and 6 rebounds.
Complete night, and he has been rewarded with a new contract here in Orlando. Ewing over O'Neal, doesn't get the roll. Oakley tips it to himself. Good job.
See, Harper had the shot and didn't take it. Charles Smith passed it up.
That's a guy who wants to pass up a shot. Can't get it, but Patrick Ewing is there for the follow.
Now, we know that New York is going to keep coming at you. Orlando better not get careless. There's 5:52 to go. They've built themselves a 14-point lead, but New York gets 3 or 4 defensive stops and get to win that 6 or 8 points. They're right in the ballgame. There's still a lot of time to be played, so we're singing the praises of the Magic. There's a long time to go in this game.
Little lob inside to Shaq. Lets Patrick go up, and he makes him pay.
You know what, Ron? I'm seeing a lot of teams front the post this year, and with that new defense where you can't help on the weak side, I see teams really getting hurt with the over-the-top pass before anyone can get back defensively.
Starks coming into this game was 8 of 30 from the arc recently. Has really struggled. He may start heating it up. Ewing has it blocked by O'Neal. Out of the pack comes Royal and Brian Shaw.
Look who's under the basket with a quick post-up already. Shaquille O'Neal, the first man down the floor after blocking the shot.
And Anthony Aben tips it away from the outstretched hands of Charles Oakley. Talk about that posting up.
Well, you see the fronting by Patrick Ewing. Someone's got to give help, and no one gets back there. That should be Charles Smith. It looks like he's too slow getting back there, and that's too late. You let Shaquille O'Neal get that close to the rim.
Well, Anthony Aben gets a nice round of applause as Horace Grant comes back into the lineup. Not a bad 5 in there for Orlando still. 10 to shoot for the Knicks. Oakley over Royal. Loses the handle. Grant comes up with it. It's a 4-on-3 if they hurry. Royal. Nice drop step move. It won't go. O'Neal counted.
New York's big guys just can't get back. Ron, they don't have the quickness and the speed to do it. And no matter what X's and O's that Pat Riley draws up on the board, you have just got to force yourself to get back quickly on defense. I mean, look at this. Oakley takes the ball to the basket. Horace Grant picks up the loose ball. And look at Shaquille O'Neal where he is. He's already coming down the floor. And there he is underneath the basket in front of Charles Smith. Ewing and Oakley has not crossed half court yet.
And Grant was right with him. Grant was running right next to him. So Shaquille 3 of 3 from the line tonight. He has 15 in the ball game. Added 7 rebounds, and he is having his usual night. The NBA Player of the Month, Shaquille O'Neal.
Boy, New York just really out of sync right now.
Well, don't forget at the conclusion of tonight's game, we will be selecting our Bud Light Player of the Game.
Say, if I'm Brian Hill right now, I'm urging my team, keep burying them right now. Don't let them up. They're struggling. They can't get anything going against us. Don't relax. Let's get them a 20, 25-point lead at halftime.
Whistle touch foul on Derek Harper. That'll be Derek's first personal foul. And, you know, when people talk about the hand-checking rule, his name always came up as this is a guy that it will probably hurt. The new rule that you can't put that hand on a guy.
Well, we saw in the playoffs last year against Houston, and this is not to pick on Derek Harper, but, I mean, he was up the floor, and within the confines of the rules and the way the game was called, I mean, he was spinning Kenny Smith and Sam Cassell 2 or 3 times before they could get the ball up the floor. Now, what they've tried to do also, Ron, is with this hand-checking rule in the backcourt especially, is that it helps teams advance the ball quickly, which they think will improve the offense, that the shot clock will not be working against you on so many possessions because you get it into the front court sooner.
What a story for this young man. His parents and sister, who he said were his idols, killed in a car crash back in 1993.
You know, Ron, I can't even fathom what this young man must be going through emotionally to have that kind of trauma. I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Truly one of the nice guys in the league, too. Brian Hill is just ecstatic of his play. Inside, John Starks, a little acrobatic showtime.
Looked like Horace Grant might have twisted his ankle. I don't know if he stepped on someone's foot.
And he is gingerly trying to walk it off. Now he breaks into a trot as Hardaway and Anderson set the check back in. Bowie on the post up, count it.
Did you see how far that pass came? All the way over the top, and no one reacted. Now, Pat Riley can't like that. He's going to call timeout and talk about it, but he cannot like that. That is not the normal reaction you see from the New York Knicks defense.
Horace Grant is in obvious pain, and he's going to be helped off by Donald Royal. Let's see exactly where he did it. Lenny Courier, the trainer, out to help out. There's Grant on the right side of your picture. Let's see, Doug, if we can see where
Well, here's Horace Grant right here. Let's see what happens. See if he comes down on someone's ankle. Normally, that's how you twist an ankle. You come down on someone's foot. Here we go, right here. Right there. You can see him roll it over. That gives you nightmares. I mean, because if you've ever played basketball, you've always done that, and it just puts a cold sweat on your forehead when you do something like that.
How about that pass, though, you were talking about just a minute ago, Doug?
So let's hold it right here. Okay, stop it right here. Look at this. Now, look at the spacing on how far this pass goes, and watch the reaction. Someone's got to get down. And look at this. We stop it right there. I mean, someone has got to get back and give help, and no one does. And Donald Royal, again, or excuse me, that's Anthony Bowie with the layup. That is not normal New York Knicks reaction on the defensive end.
Oh, you saw Horace Grant leaving, going back into the training room. Get a little treatment with 3:46 left, though, and your team is up by 20. It's probably a pretty safe move by Brian Hill to send him in and just make sure he's okay. Now Brian Hill worrying about the substitution here because he wants to bring in Anthony Avent, Nick Anderson, and Anthony Hardaway because of the injury to Horace Grant. But they're only going to bring in Anthony Avent. Anderson and Hardaway sit. The Magic up by 20. Knicks have the basketball.
I know the season's early, but Orlando hits the best team that I've seen this year. They're the best. I think they're the most complete team. When I look at their starting lineup, they have a point guard, they have an off guard, they have a small forward, they have a great center, they have a power forward. The question will be, as you go into the season and as you get deep into the year, when fatigue and injury start to take their toll, how good is their bench?
Exactly.
And how experienced are they? This team has not won a playoff game. So we're expecting this team to win the NBA championship this year, and they've never won a playoff game in the history of this franchise.
Well, you know, talking to Brian Hill, he is one that all along has said, hey, listen, we haven't won a playoff game. I think these expectations and press clippings are all nice, but we still have to go out and play basketball. And he addressed that with us today, and he's keeping very level-headed about it. Now I think they're sending poor Horace Grant to come back out. He has to go back into the ball game. And, you know, Brian Hill was worried about it, so now Brian's going to call a timeout to try to get this thing straightened out. So Horace has to strap on the shoes, come back out. We'll take a step aside and come right back.
The NBA on TNT.
And remember, tonight you're playing for Bud Light, ladies. The boys are back in town.
These guys are good. Who are you calling guys?
Yeah. Looks like you're in the finals. Ma'am, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You're the defending ladies pool champion? Yes, I am.
Hello and welcome to the Iceman Cooking. Penny Hardaway sent his recipe for black-eyed peas.
All right.
These peas are pretty much like Anthony's game. Pretty much enjoyed by all. Because he can do this and he can do that. You know, everybody in the league can't do that. He even got a little sugar over here. Let's see these black-eyed peas and how well they are. Anthony, young fella. Penny Hardaway is going to be a future all-star. Oh, man, Iceman, you can cook it.
I don't fit a computer profile. I'm not your ordinary run-of-the-mill, chew-em-out, biscuit and cheese ball player. I got something special. I got like a big Bruto in here that's beating real heavy and says I'm going to play the game. Now, I'm not talking trash when I say that. I got skills. You want some of me? You know, lace them up. That's all.
Can you pass the physical?
Do they have a physical?
Well, Doug, it's a 20-point lead by Orlando. We have figured out exactly what has happened, and you get the opportunity to explain it all.
Well, on the play that Horace Grant twisted his ankle, after the score, New York took a 20-second timeout. Orlando substituted. You're not allowed to substitute unless you take the 20 or the other team substitute, so they had to take a full timeout to be able to keep him out of the game.
Well, Horace has returned to the bench already. Starks tries to light it up, and he continues to struggle.
Well, you always hate to see when a shooter starts shaking his head. That means he's thinking. And you just got to react. You just got to shoot it.
Illegal D on New York. Charles Oakley was straddling the foul line. One thing that John Starks has been doing, and this may sound silly, but a lot of coaches do it, is last couple of days he's been shooting with somebody holding a broom in front of him to simulate an outstretched hand.
I've never liked that. I've never liked that because I think that's unnatural. I think you go out and you shoot the shot you're going to shoot in a game. And I think when you start getting those gimmicks involved, you get guys even thinking more. Now, that's what he does. I think that's great. And if your shot is flat, then you get the shot up. Shooting over a broom, I just don't like.
But if you ever play your cleaning lady, you're ready. You know, you're set to play this lady. Shaquille O'Neal is showing us the complete repertoire tonight. He has 17 points. And the lead is 23. That is the biggest. Just smacks it out. Anthony Hardaway can't track it down. 3 minutes left in the first half. Magic led by 12 at the end of one, 31-19, and they have opened it up here in quarter number 2. They now lead it by 23, led by Shaquille O'Neal's 19 points. 17 for Penny Hardaway.
When you look at New York's shooting, 4 for 13 for Ewing, 3 for 9 for Starks, so 7 for 22 for their 2 big scores. And on the year, both of those guys scoring is down 5 points a game. Ewing at 25 last year, this year at 20, a little bit better than 20. And Starks was at 19 this year, a little over 14 and a half.
Patrick now starting to swing outside a little bit more.
You got your 2 leading scorers averaging 10 less points a game, you're going to struggle. No double team, playing him straight up.
Whistle and a foul.
Well, they're going to give him the basket. I thought he took another dribble here.
Too. Ewing now with 3 personal fouls.
Let's take a look at this play. He's going to come into the middle, and there's the foul, and then he takes the extra dribble. That's why you should always continue to play, and that's why you see NBA players grab guys and not let them get the shot off. For Shaq, it's a little super treatment right there, a little preferential treatment. You know what? He deserves it.
Yeah, hey, you know, he's paid his dues. Well, O'Neal now with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Not bad. The hook by Anthony Mason finds the net. Mason now with 6 in the ball game, but the lead is at 22. We're nearing 2 minutes.
62 points by Orlando right now. Normally that's a 3/4 score if you're playing against New York.
You mentioned 4 times in the last 7. Orlando's failed to get to 100 against the Knicks.
One thing you can count on, Charles Oakley's going to keep rebounding.
Less than 2 minutes remaining in the half.
Mason looks for Ewing. Shaquille playing him straight up, no double cover.
Neither team is really double team. Now you see the help back by Hardaway and the open 3 for Harper.
They just can't find the net tonight. And Shaq, point man. Donald Royal again. Royal with 12, 18's his season high.
If I'm Brian Hill, I take this tape this first half and I put this away somewhere to show my guys just how beautiful they can play the game when everybody's involved. Because this has been a complete effort. This has not been a one-man show by any stretch of the imagination.
You hit it on the head. Everybody's touching the ball. Everybody gets a touch.
And it's fun to play like that, Ron, when you know if you're open, you're going to get the ball. That was sort of the trademark of the Los Angeles Lakers when they were at their best, and also the Celtics.
Oakley went down hard. He's slow to get up. 3-on-3 down the other end. Orlando has it as Donald Royal and Shaquille O'Neal finally crossed the timeline. Coming up on the Reebok halftime report, it'll be Ernie Johnson back in Atlanta. He'll have scores and highlights from tonight's action, plus a little bonus coverage tonight of the Suns and the Celtics and the Pistons and the Bullets.
You know, we talk about moving the basketball, and we talked to Pat Riley today. He said, you know, Doug, one of the things we need at this point in time are more ball movers rather than ball launchers. And we've seen that today. Not good ball movement by New York, and they've had to take some tough shots. On the other hand, Orlando getting any shot they want because they are moving the ball.
New York has only 8 assists, and that shows you exactly where their game is as John Starks picks up the foul. That is his 3rd personal. So Starks with 3, Ewing with 3. Nick Anderson, and to think back in his rookie year, he was only 1 of 17 from 3-point range. He had no jump shot per se as a rookie, and look what he's turned into as a player right now.
That 1 foot 9 inches has been a big difference for Nick Anderson. He's a jump shooter to 22 feet at 23.9. He shot it pretty well last year, but he is really taking advantage of the closer line.
Well, Doc Rivers has checked into the lineup. That's his first action since December 13th of 1993. He's coming off, of course, knee injury, has an ankle sprain, back spasms. Doc says he's completely healthy, though. Hands are a little problem, but the rest of him's okay. Glenn Rivers, the pull-up jumper, doesn't get it. Right into the hands of Anthony Avon.
Tough shot. Come off the bench cold. I'm sure Doc is stiff from sitting over there for almost an hour. Try to take that shot to beat the clock. That's a tough shot to have to take.
Tree Rollins has come back in for Orlando. Final 15 seconds of the first half. A very impressive first half. Hardaway, oh my, it almost went. New York has time. Oakley will take it. Short, tip, Rollins. That's the way the first half will end. And it was a complete team effort by the Orlando Magic. They led by 12 at the end of 1. Shaquille O'Neal and company shoot 64% in the first half to New York's 35%. They lead it by 24. Stay with us. Ernie Johnson, the Reebok halftime report is next.
Yo, get with the program.
Catch Inside Stuff Saturday morning.
Everybody needs some money sometime. Everybody needs some cash somehow.
Hello?
Rita.
It's midnight.
I need $500. Now.
I'll call Western Union.
Just call 1-800-CALL-CASH, and you can send money from home.
My sometime is now.
Western Union.
Oh, yeah.
The fastest way to send money worldwide.
Nokia One-Touch Dialing lets you call important numbers with one touch of one button.
Emergency road services.
Amazing. Nokia cellular phones.
Only those with superhuman ability may enter my court. I got next. Dare to continue?
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok.
Man alive, it has been all Magic, 64-40 over the Knicks. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta with the Reebok Halftime Report. Let's get to some bonus coverage right off the bat here. Washington, playing at home, has lost 4 straight with Chris Webber and Juwan Howard in the lineup. Looks like they may reverse that trend tonight. Bonus coverage from the U.S. Air. Mel Proctor and Phil Chenier.
Anthony Tucker is in the game for the Bullets. And a turnover by the Bullets. Detroit's ball with 2:03 left in the third period.
2 minutes left in the quarter.
Bullets opened up this one in the second period when they outscored Detroit 33-20. Since then, they've been able to maintain a 13 to 15-point lead. Playing excellent defense. Three-point attempt is no good. But Terry Mills was fouled by Kevin Duckworth, so this will be 3 free throws coming up. Duckworth is not pleased with the call. It's also his fourth foul.
Those are the kind of fouls you certainly don't want to commit. Terry Mills, a very good.
Well, I thought Mills was shooting.
Mills was shooting, yeah. Maybe it was off the ball. You have to figure this one out.
So this will be 2 free throws. Curley, who averaged 20 points, 9 rebounds per game at Boston College. He grew up as a Celtic fan. Cornbread Maxwell was his favorite player.
Played a good game with Cornbread earlier this summer up in Rochester. JoJo White had a all-star game up there. I shouldn't say all-star, but an old-time game.
Fading all-star.
Yeah.
Albert Cheney scoops up the loose ball. Scott Skiles, nope. Rebounded by Curley.
He's gotten himself in the paint a couple of times this half, but still hasn't been struggling with that shot a little bit.
Ooh, Joe Dumars with a crossover move, and he's fouled.
Well, that's the kind of play that you like to see on the playground. You see a guy kind of tempting you with the ball. Joe Dumars lulling Calvert Cheney. Look at him just showing him the ball, and when Calvert leans for it, Joe Dumars is gone.
Dumars is not at full strength tonight. He has the flu, and there was doubt right up until game time as to whether he would even suit up. But he said, if I'm going to be here, I'd rather play than sit around. That's worse. But he's been a great one for 9 years out of New State, a 4-time All-Star. 8 points for Dumars, and it's 77-60.
There you see the score. Bonus coverage on TNT. Chris Webber and the guys trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. They're up by 11, a fourth-quarter mountain decline for Grant Hill and the Pistons. When the Reebok halftime report continues, an experiment by Paul Westphal of Phoenix tonight that's not quite working. Those highlights coming up next.
If you're looking for a reliable place for your car or truck, I've got news for you.
Pep Boys Pro Start Plus batteries. No matter what you drive, import or domestic, they're the ultimate starting power.
Come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
True story. Yeah, me and the Warriors in the locker room skipping practice. Zoom, shooting hoop. Me and Mullen. Fast break. Me and Hardaway. Zoom, behind the back pass. Me and the boys dogging it. Zooming along, playing the game. Zoom, in walks Coach Nelson. Busted. Unplugs the game. Yo, Don, bring it back. Yo, Don, bring it back. NBA Live 95. EA Sports. It's in the game.
There it is. I don't believe it.
A new star!
Hey, Jack, you see my watch?
Nope.
Introducing Loris Lumabright watches. They glow brightly for hours. A new star is born.
I'll never stop until I get your home sold.
Why should you call 1-800-4HOUSES?
That would go through hell and high water for a customer.
Go home and tell Mom and Dad we're going to get you a nice house.
Century 21, rated #1.
Not a very interesting piece, reminiscent of early Doddies.
If he's so smart, why is he using those other batteries?
Now, if...
You're right, Mom. The museum can be fun.
The Copper Top tops them all.
Because they're helping to build dreams. Because of their spirit of teamwork. The men and women of Home Depot share in the spirit of the Olympics. And to help build better homes, we're proud to have Charbroil as a member of our Home Depot Olympic family. Since 1948, Charbroil has set the standard for American-made outdoor cooking products. They give you their best, just like the U.S. Olympic team, and just like the people at Home Depot.
Halfway home at the Arena, a 24-point lead for the Magic over the Knicks as the Reebok halftime report continues. The other night, the Phoenix Suns went to Chicago and got beat 118-105. They look at the film. Paul Westphal says we got to be more defensive-minded. And so tonight, who doesn't start? Dan Marley doesn't start. Neither does Charles Barkley. Neither does D. Manning. So what happens? They get blown out in the first half at Boston. There you see Marley kind of bummed on the pines and Dominique inside to the rook, Eric Montross. who knocks it down for a 6-point lead. End of the first, D. Brown, the wish for swish. Got it. Man, they're running away from him. Back comes the A-team for Phoenix to try to make a game of this. Charles Barkley inside with a little one off the glass. But Boston trying to hold him off. Dominique Wilkins led him with 12 in the first half and gets the roll. And right now things have tightened up considerably at Boston Garden. It is 79-76. A 3-point lead. They once were up by 21 in this game as the Suns close the gap in the fourth. New Jersey and Miami are playing at Miami Arena, and it's all Miami. 90-73 is the Heat lead. Sacramento and Philly. John Lucas walked out of practice this week. He was disgusted with his guys, and he's going to get tough with them. Look at Mitch Richmond going up and under the big Sean Bradley. This is almost a taunt, folks. Olden Polynice with the dunk and the little shimmy. They didn't call anything. Sean Bradley. Man, look at the big follow in the paint. Philadelphia and Sacramento in a good one at the Spectrum. 2-point lead for the Kings over the Sixers. Atlanta and Chicago at the United Center, and Stacey Augmon working high off the glass. Will Perdue on the Chicago bench says, I would have swatted that thing if I didn't have this broken nose and couldn't play. Larry Krystkowiak off the injured list and through the paint for a couple, and into the second quarter now, and the struggling Atlanta Hawks trying to avoid their 10th loss of the season, trailing the Bulls 25-18. Later tonight, San Antonio will play at Portland, and it'll be Houston with Akeem in there after the sprained right wrist. He's still going to go against the LA Lakers. Back with more on the Reebok Halftime Report right after this.
What if I told you everything you know about TV is about to change? Because now there's DirecTV, totally digital television. More movies, more sports, more of what I want than ever before. All through a tiny satellite dish about the size of a small pet. Stay. With digital quality video and CD sound, everything's gonna look great. How does DirecTV work? I have no idea, but it does. Get your DSS 18-inch dish and DirecTV at your RCA dealer.
What would it be like if everyone had the same face? The same face. Well, to get a comfortable shave, you wouldn't need a razor as flexible as the Schick Tracer. The Tracer bends to fit each individual face, leaving your unique face uniquely comfortable. The Schick Tracer. We're changing the face of shaving.
And welcome back to the Reebok Halftime Report as we spotlight a quartet of teams which shared a distinction last season that they'd rather not share. Dallas, Detroit, Milwaukee, and Minnesota were the only teams that had losing records every month. Now, how have their fortunes changed with November in the books? High marks to Dallas. The Mavs had their first winning month since April of 1990, going 7-4. The Pistons, who averaged about 3 wins a month, got out of the gate 7-6. There's renewed hope in Milwaukee, where Big Dog and the Bucks went 5-7 after averaging 3 wins a month last season. But Minnesota had its 19th straight losing month, dropping 13 out of 14, falling short of their average monthly win output of a year ago. Now, a winning November is no guarantee that you're going to be playing in May, but last year 11 teams posted winning records in the season's first month, and 10 made the playoffs. Orlando and New York, 2 of the 15 teams that had winning Novembers this season. They're heading to the third quarter in Orlando.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok.
Only those with superhuman ability may enter my court. I got next.
40 is our halftime score. That is the biggest lead of the game for the Orlando Magic, and holding to New York to just 40 points is the fewest points that the Magic have allowed at halftime so far this year, along with Doug Collins, I'm Ron Thulin. It was a case of New York not being able to find the basket. They're not in sync offensively, and Orlando just played about as well as they could play.
Total dominance in every phase, energy-wise, ball movement, rebounding, whatever you want. Orlando gave it to them tonight. And for New York, this is a little bit of a character check for them. We know what they're all about, but they need to find something in this second half that they can feel good about. The game is not over, but they're going to have a tough uphill climb to win this game tonight.
Well, how about the fast break points? 23-8. That is probably one of the major telling stats in the first 24.
Well, they did it with their defense, and they got out and they ran, and the big guys really got actively involved in the running. And when big guys run, you've got to get them the ball. And here we see Anthony Hardaway, one of the reasons why he's third in the league in steals. He kicks the ball loose, and Nick Anderson gives the ball back to him. He gets the flying slam dunk. Anthony Hardaway with a big first half, 17 points and 4 assists. And the shot selection of the Orlando Magic. Pat Riley said they get 70% of their offense inside, and that's basically what they've got in the first half. You see 15 for 25, 42 points, and 22 on the outside. It's been an inside-out attack. That's the way you want to build your team.
Well, the starting forwards, back on November 10th, it was a big night for the Knicks. 25 points, 30 rebounds. Tonight, not so lucky. 5 and 7, the numbers on them.
Well, Charles Smith does not have a point. Has 1 point, did not take a shot in 11 minutes. And this is a guy that can score. I mean, they've somehow got him involved in the game offensively. And then for Orlando, you see Donald Royal with 12, Horace Grant with 10. They had 22, and were just everywhere and present in every phase of that first half.
Well, we are at intermission where the Orlando Magic have opened up that 24-point margin, but this is a team with a great deal of pride, the New York Knicks. And the starting 5 for the second half for the Knicks were just over on the far side. And you can see the intensity on the face of Patrick Ewing. I have a feeling they're not going to let this thing just slip away like this. They're not folding up the tents yet.
The problem with New York is they have such a difficult time scoring that many instances they get in games like this. I did a game like this in Houston last year with New York, and they were awful. I thought, this is not a team that's going to go very far, and then they can come back the next night and look great. Look who they get involved in the first play, Charles Smith.
Well, Anthony Avin gets the start of the second half in place of Horace Grant. He has a sprained middle foot, they're calling it. He is expected to play if they need him.
Shaquille in the post, no double team. Patrick plays him straight up.
Just dips underneath Ewing. Hardaway almost come up with a steal. Anthony Hardaway third in the NBA in pickpocketing.
So Charles Smith's going to take the first 2 shots and caught his own miss. That's a traveling.
Caught his own miss. We'll go the other way with it.
Basket. So now what you got to be careful now is that everybody doesn't stand around and watch Charles Smith play ball and try to get involved.
Right.
That's why you'd like to be able to get people involved within the flow of what you do rather than target one guy like we're going to go to this guy unless he just got it going and you want to get him some shots.
We talked about how Derek Harper schooled Anthony Hardaway in game number 1 between these two teams, and that was a real turnaround for Anthony Hardaway. The players and the coaching staff got on Hardaway. It was O'Neal now with 22, and ever since then, Hardaway's been playing defense and offense.
Shaquille O'Neal, so impressive, 22 points.
9 of 13 now from the floor, shooting 61% on the year.
Foul number 0,
Anthony Avin picks up his second personal foul. First team foul here in the second half.
I'm sure that Orlando would love for Horace Grant to be able to watch the rest of this game and not have to play.
Oh, yeah. Ewing spin move baseline, doesn't get it. Oakley over Royal. Starks bombs away.
And they're off and running. They're going to have numbers.
4 players in double figures for the Magic in the first half. Only 1 for the Knicks.
Nick Anderson posting against Starks. Mismatch.
Right around him for the easy slam. Nick Anderson's first field goal of the ball game.
Nick Anderson. 27.
And Pat Riley has seen enough in just 1 minute and 38 seconds. Watch the mismatch underneath with Anderson.
See, you can use the forearm, but when you use the forearm, you can roll off the forearm. Last year, you could put hands on players, and you could guard guys in the post. This year, they're not allowing you to do that, and it's freeing up this kind of play. You put your forearm on someone, you roll right off of that. Your hand, you can reach up and you can control someone with.
Well, Pat Riley constantly talks about the 3 E's for his team: energy, efficiency, and effort. He says, if you don't have the energy, you're not going to make the effort to be efficient. And right now, they do not have that energy. At least they didn't in the first 24 minutes. A cutting John Starks, the finger roll. It goes.
Well, that was a nice set play. The ball comes down. It goes into Ewing. He reads it. Nice curl on the weak side by Starks. He gets into the middle. And Orlando just a little slow reacting. But the nice curl, someone's got to step up there and bump John Starks as he tries to get into the lane. A little bit slow getting there. That was not Nick Anderson's fault. He did what he was supposed to do. He stayed right on his shoulder.
John Starks coming off an all-star year, which he was also a member of the all-defensive second team. 10 points now for Starks, but the lead remains big at 25.
Isolation this time for Hardaway.
Aved got between Charles Oakley and John Starks, and they're going to call a foul on John Starks.
John Starks.
Starks cannot believe it. That is his 4th personal foul.
His 4th first team foul.
Pat Riley says, I've got to leave you in right now. We're down 25 points. No need to make the substitution. Just play. If you foul out, I'll substitute.
O'Neal over Ewing with sheer power.
Do we realize how good this guy's become? Oh, I think we're just sort of casually sitting here. Well, that's 24 and 11 rebounds. I mean, he's playing a sensational game, Ron, and he's an improved player offensively. I've seen moves from him tonight that I did not see last year.
No. And, you know, he had an offseason in which he concentrated on basketball. He went to LSU to take a couple business courses. He's intent on getting his degree. And the whole time he had one of the assistant coaches living with him, working him out every day. Then, of course, he goes over to Dream Team.
And I thought he was spectacular for Dream Team, too. I thought he was a difference in their team. When he would come off the bench, he gave them such a presence. And they had no one, the other teams had no one that could match him physically. And there's no one in the NBA can match him physically either. This man is, what, 17'1" and weighs 315 or 320 pounds and can run the floor like a small forward.
I think Red Holtzman said it best when he saw him back on November 10th. He said, you know, the first time I saw Wilt Chamberlain, I thought I was having a nightmare. Now that I'm watching Shaquille O'Neal, I'm having that nightmare again.
Against the Knicks.
Ron, you know what happened just then? John Starks was in the lane. And as Charles Smith started to shoot, he just turned and walked out. Lane violation, took a point away from his team. That's lack of concentration. You got to stay on the lane.
And that's something that Pat Riley's teams usually do not do. Hardaway tries to get it to O'Neal. Last touch by the men in blue. It goes to Orlando.
Let's take a look. Here's John Starks right here, and he cannot leave. Now watch what's going to happen here. Charles Smith is bouncing the ball, and he says, I think I'll just go for a little walk. Well, that's a violation. You can't leave there until the shot is released.
Good job by our camera guys catching that. He has the truck. Orlando with the ball, a comfortable 26-point advantage. Shaquille doesn't get it, but he draws some bodies. Now let's take a look at tonight's Chevrolet scoreboard as the foul was on Charles Oakley.
Did I look up and see that Phoenix was down 40-19 in the first quarter?
They were down that, and they have come back because Marley didn't start, Barkley didn't start, or D. Manning didn't start in that game, as Ernie said. How about Washington? Oh, they're going to win a game with Chris Webber, and Marty Aronoff predicted that, folks, our stat man.
You know what? I think I read something from Grant Hill that in all the years they played against each other, Grant Hill and Chris Webber, that goes back to AAU when they were about 13 or 14 years old, that Chris Webber's team had never beaten it. So this might be a first that Chris Webber might finally beat Grant Hill.
Well, Shaq hits 4 in a row, misses 2 in a row, but they come right back up with it. Royal with the body contact. They're going to call an offensive foul. That is number 4 on Donald Rowe.
Royal is 4th. No team foul.
I think tonight, if this game continues to go like it is, I want to see Anthony Hardaway, Anthony Bowie, Anthony Aved, Greg Anthony, and Anthony Mason all in the lineup at the same time.
And you'll do the international feed, and I'll just listen.
That's exactly right. Hey, we'll just nod. Now Charles Oakley hits the jumper. Only his second field goal. Look inside to Aved, Anderson, Starks. John Starks with authority.
Timeout, Magic.
And Brian Hill is taking no chances on this. He wants to stop the action.
Lucky fans in section 202.
A nice defensive play by Ewing. Kicks the ball loose, and Oakley gives it up to John Starks, who's going to go in strong and finish it. And the Knicks have climbed to 22 with 8:49 remaining.
And one lucky fan in section 202.
The NBA on TNT is brought to you by Chevy Trucks and by Pep Boys.
I'm bored. Let's count the palm trees again. Why are you looking at me like that, Iggy? You okay? Cut it out. You're weirding me, man. Stop looking at me like that, would you? You're creeping me out. Cut that out, man.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Iggy, you're gonna twist my head off. Iggy.
Before we introduced the all-new Chevy Blazer, it was thoroughly tested. We're quite pleased with the results. After we introduced the all-new Chevy Blazer, it was thoroughly tested. We're quite pleased with the results.
Sometimes you don't want to go to school. You want to go to some place that's going to make you happy. And if a friend's house is going to do that, then that's the best option for you at that time.
It makes it tough. Some days I get up, I don't want to go to practice. But what I'm thinking is, if I don't go to practice, when we play the New York Knicks and I'm not prepared, then I'm in trouble.
That's a job. School doesn't pay you anything.
You're right, but it takes preparation. It takes hard work. It takes all of the things associated with the job. The benefit of education doesn't necessarily come then. It comes later.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Before we send you back to Orlando, let's bring you some bonus coverage. Great comeback by the Phoenix Suns, down 19 after 1, down 15 at the half, down 3 after 3 at Boston. Now the game is tied, under 3 minutes to go. Al McCoy and Cotton Fitzsimmons calling it.
Around and off, rebound Green, no! Oh, but it's knocked out front, and Boston has it. D. Brown breaking down with Wilkins, gives it to Wilkins, who'll get the layup and score.
Nice play by D. Brown that time, knowing Wilkins was there.
Al McCoy, Cotton Fitzsimmons from Boston Garden. 2:15 left in a barn burner. 98-96, the Celts by 2. Suns with the basketball and Barkley at three-point range. He starts to drive. He keeps coming. He puts the shot up and it won't go, but he draws the foul. And Sir Charles will go to the free throw line. Derek Strong picks up the Boston foul.
Charles says, settle down, everybody. But the problem is, Charles has struggled at the free throw line since coming back off of this injury. And as you come down the stretch, he's going to have to hit these free throws in order for the Suns to win the ball games if you're going to isolate him.
Dominique Wilkins with a brilliant game for Boston. He has scored 32. Barkley at the line with a chance to tie, and just a shade over 2 minutes left in the ball game. 2 minutes and 6 seconds. It's been quite a night here at famed Boston Garden. The first free throw by Barkley is good. This is the last appearance for the Suns in regular season, because believe it or not, the Celtics will move into a new arena next year. Barkley getting the ball back from referee Joey Crawford. Spins around in his hands a few times. Takes the long look. Bounces at 3, 4. Now here's the shot. And it is not going to go. Rebound pulled down by Derek Strong. And a 20-second timeout is going to be called by Boston with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the game. And the Celtics leading the Suns by 1 point, 98-97.
Well, Chris Ford's going to do his very best to try to pull his ball club through this game. They've had nice leads in the game. They've lost the lead. They fell behind. They've come back. He wants to make sure with a 1 point lead that he gets a good shot. Now, they're going to do their very best to get the ball to Dominique Wilkins if they possibly can.
The Suns at 1 point, just in case you've forgotten, trailed by 23 points. At the end of the opening quarter, they were down 36-17. So that's the kind of a night it's been, and they battled back. A big third quarter where they scored 35. Outscored the Sox 35-24, has put them within 1. Boston with the ball, leading 98-97, under 2 minutes left in the game. D. Brown out front, left side for Wilkins. He's been dynamite for Boston tonight. Wilkins against Marley. Wilkins the stutter step fake. Back from 16. The jumper's good.
Marley couldn't cover him any better. He took him one-on-one, and the superstar Dominique Wilkins delivered.
34 points for Wilkins. Now the Suns are down by 3, 100-97. A minute, 45 seconds to go. The Celtics have made their last 6 shots. Elliott Perry for the Suns to D. Manning. Out left of the key area. Manning looks for Marley, but can't get it to him low. Now Manning spins into the lane in traffic. Shoots from 14 and buries it. Count it, and he's fouled. Oh, brother.
That time they caught Dominique Wilkins leaning in on D. Manning and pushing. Manning, another guy who's not afraid to take the big shot. That's what the Suns have. They have so many players that are not afraid to take the shot when pressure's on.
The Suns with Marley, Barkley, Manning, A.C. Green, and Elliott Perry. Manning to shoot 1 free throw with the opportunity to tie with 1:34 seconds left of regulation here in the 4th quarter. He ties it. Both clubs at the century mark. 100 apiece. 1:34 remaining. Coach Paul Westphal has a smile on his face. Chris Ford, the Celtic, he's just adjusting his tie as he looks on. Over the left side, D. Brown. Brown against the Suns, Elliott Perry. Brown edging down behind the Wilkins screen now. He drives. The ball slips away out of bounds off one of the Suns, Boston's ball.
A.C. Green stepped right up that time, got a piece of that basketball. Looked like D. Brown was going to have a layup.
11 seconds on the Celtics shot clock to Wesley over on the far side. Wesley starting to wreck traffic. Wesley backs away at 3-point range. 4 seconds to get a shot off. Wesley wants to drive. Baseline shots blocked by Manning, and Manning comes up with the ball. Manning gives it out on the side to Perry. They're going to say hold the phone. The shot clock ran out because the shot didn't draw iron before anybody could get possession. The shot clock ran out.
Suns did 2 things then. Number one, Marley wouldn't allow Dominique Wilkins to ever get the ball back. And the second thing, they wouldn't give him a good look at the basket. D. Manning stepped over and got a piece of it, then came away with the basketball.
And 10 seconds remain in regulation, tied at 100. Suns possession. Elliott Perry over the time stripe. We're at Boston Garden, and it doesn't get any better than this. Perry between the circles to Marley, who comes out on the perimeter. Looks low, he's got Manning. Score it! D. Manning from Marley. Suns lead 102-100.
A little rough cut. I'm sure the Celtics going to take a timeout.
They will. We have exactly 58.6 seconds to go. Suns by 2. We'll be back after the Celtics.
Man, great stuff. Bonus coverage on TNT from Boston Garden. The Suns now with a 2-point lead in the closing seconds. We'll be back right after this.
When the sun goes down, TNT is going to heat up the night.
It's no wonder that the new Chevy Blazer has such humongous cargo capacity. The hatch opening itself was designed around the dimensions of a washing machine carton. Of course, you might not always need all that space, but it's nice to know it's there.
When I saw Percy on television, I saw a child in need. The news media called him crime boy, boy burglar, boy bandit.
12 years old, 57 crimes.
If you have an heart, you have to reach out and say, I want to make a difference.
What do you do with a one-boy crime wave? Take him home.
He's not TV bad guy, he's just a kid crying out, help me. The sad reality is that there are thousands of kids like this one out in the streets, committing crimes from ages 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Dennis Grant takes in kids lost to crime. 12 last count. He knows stepping in can mean stopping violence, one child at a time.
Just step out and say, I want to make a difference. This is a life worth saving.
Do you know anyone stepping in to stop violence? Send us your story.
All right, Ernie Johnson back at you from Atlanta. The Magic still up by 25 over the Knicks in Orlando. Let's get back to more bonus coverage from Boston Garden. The Suns up by 2 over the Celtics. Boston has got the ball. Al McCoy, Cotton Fitzsimmons.
Him. Wilkins at 3-point range. Wilkins starts to drive. He stops. Here's the 15-footer, but it's off the mark. And Barkley, Sir Charles has the big rebound. Hands it off to Elliott Perry with 40 seconds left in the ball game. Perry, cautiously, calm, cool, collected, moves it up out of backcourt. Wesley tries to knock it away. Pass goes to Marley with 11 seconds on the shot clock for the Suns. Marley hangs on. Low for Barkley, was fouled by Wilkins. And that will send Barkley to the free throw line.
That's the bread and butter play for the Suns, whether it be from their out of bounds or in a half-court situation. They like to rub people off of Barkley. He's big, he's strong, he can slow them up. That time the Celtics switched it. Strong had to go with Manning. That left Dominique on Charles, and he tried to make the steal, but he was late.
Barkley has 16 points. He has 9 rebounds in the ball game. His first free throw is up and in. And the Suns have a 3-point lead with 27 seconds remaining in regulation. Fourth quarter, of course. Barkley stepping back to the line. Tomorrow night from Detroit, 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time for our radio and television broadcast. The next free throw by Barkley is good. He hit them both. And it's 104-100. We'll get a timeout call by the Celtics, and we'll be back with the final 27 seconds of this thriller. Right
Sir Charles and Manning and Marley didn't start, but they're all in there when it counts. And Phoenix trying to close out the Celtics up by 4. Let's get back to Ron and Doug in Orlando.
Thank you, Ernie. The New York Knicks cut the Magic lead down to 18, but boy, the Magic have turned on the afterburners again, and they're back up by an 81-56 count. We just had a flagrant foul 1 called on Derek Harper. Hardaway made them both, and Shaquille O'Neal just dips and doodles underneath. 31 points for Shaquille O'Neal. That is his season average. But boy, we hope we have time to show you a dunk by Anthony Hardaway as Smith gets his second field goal of the game.
Patrick Ewing doesn't want to see that dunk.
Over Patrick Ewing. Unbelievable dunk.
Nick Anderson still looking for a 3. He has a string of 12 straight games going with a 3 that's tied Dennis Scott, so he's looking for a 3 tonight that would give him the team record.
Isn't that perfect for the Knicks? I mean, that is the story of their night. Charles Smith on a fast break, rolls it off his leg. It has been a very frustrating night for the New York Knicks. Patrick Ewing just 6 of 16 from the floor. Orlando has done just about everything right, including posting up that man, Anthony Hardaway, who this time can't get it to drop, but he gets his own rebound and putback.
This kid is dynamite. He is so fun to watch.
25 points now for the second-year pro.
Anthony Hardaway is a player that I'll pay to see. I'll watch him play. About that time he throws one of those passes.
Yeah.
Anthony, I'm going to take that back.
And here's Charles Oakley with the easy 2. The 7 for Oakley in the second half, 11 for the ball game, but it is still a 23-point advantage nearing the 4-minute mark of the quarter. The New York Knicks starting a series of 4 games in 5 nights. December, on the other hand, for the Orlando Magic, a very brutal month. Oh, my! Tear the rim down, the boss. Oh, start calling him Tony Danza.
I thought he was too far away from the basket to dunk this ball. He just extended.
Here's the dunk, though, by Hardaway. Watch this, folks. Well, this is the spin move, first of all, by Shaquille.
Now look how far he is away from the basket. He's going away, and he reaches in and dunks the ball. And let's say, can you top that? And Anthony Hardaway says, yes, I can. Patrick Ewing back on the break. Shaquille is trailing, and Ewing goes up, and Hardaway with the vicious slam dunk.
And Shaquille O'Neal having a good night from the stripes, 6 of 9. He has 15 points in this quarter, 34 for the ball game.
I think New York's got about 4 more minutes from their starters to try to get this game maybe within reach. If not, I would be very surprised if we saw Patrick Ewing and some of these guys in the game in the fourth quarter. You might as well rest them, because right now Orlando, whenever there's been any kind of test, they've met the challenge and stepped up their game. Well, you see the look of a worried man right there.
11 seconds to go in that ball game. Phoenix beginning to pull away. They now lead it by 7. We'll give you a final as soon as we have it passed on to us. Anthony Mason, not much of a factor tonight. He had 6 first-half points, only 1 here in the third quarter.
You know, Ron, a thing I want to mention, too, I was talking to John Gabriel today, and he said, you know, that with the Anthony Hardaway deal that got them 3 number 1 draft choices, you think about that deal right now, and they were able to do that, get 3 number 1s, and then get their power forward the next year through free agency in Horace Grant. And that's really thinking ahead about how you can fill 2 positions and not 1. Had they gotten Weber, they could never have gotten the quality of player point guard they got in Anthony Hardaway. This man's 22 years old.
And you got to understand, Shaquille's 22, Anthony Hardaway's 22. Horace Grant told me, because, you know, it's kind of funny being one of the oldest guys on the team next to Tree Rollins. Well, that is a final in Boston now. The Boston Celtics have lost to the Phoenix Suns, 107-102. So a comeback by Phoenix. Paul Westphal not starting, Barkley and company. Interesting move. 3:42 left in the, believe it or not, third quarter here. Magic already with 88 points in this game.
The Knicks gave up 91 points a game last year. And with that jump hook, Shaquille's going to make it 90 with 3:30 to go in the third
Another
quarter.
unbelievable night. 15 for 21 as Anthony Mason quickly down the other end of the court. But still, Shaquille having his way underneath with Patrick Ewing. But in Patrick's defense, he's not getting much help. And Pat Riley is going to his bench, Doug. Shaw tried to force the ball inside to Aved. Then he commits the foul.
That's one of those where you see a junior high player pull where they'll throw the ball away and they'll run in and try to get it back and they'll foul. And you say, well, pros don't do that. Well, we just saw Brian Shaw do the same thing.
Really.
It's human nature. When you make a mistake, I'm going to go rectify it, and normally you end up compounding it. Now, in a game like this, I don't think it matters.
Now checking into the lineup, the rookie out of Notre Dame, number 2, Monty Williams, the first-round pick this past year, 24th overall. Pat Riley going to give Monty some time, and talking to Monty Williams before the game, he goes, you know, I hope I get a couple of minutes tonight. Monty, you may get about a quarter and plus some.
Magic substitution. Number 14, Anthony.
Well, Anthony Bowie will come in for the Orlando Magic. Brian Shaw will take a seat. In case you just joined us, it has been all the Magic. They led by 12 at the end of one. They led by 24 at halftime. Horace Grant is sitting out. He sprained his foot. He says he's okay, and we're just going to give him a rest. Williams with the rebound. Harper, no-look pass inside. Good defense, Anthony Aved. Potter, no place to go. Shaquille clogging up the middle. Patrick just off balance, knocks O'Neal down. Here comes Anderson to the hole. Count it.
I don't think Patrick Ewing has shot a free throw tonight, has he? He's taken about, how many field goal attempts does he have now on the night?
I think it's got to be at least 18, Marty. 16 field goal attempts.
See, that's the one thing where Patrick Ewing, when he shoots a lot of jump shots, when they're not going, he's got to find a way to get to the free throw line. Tonight he's not been able to do that.
6 to shoot. Ewing just spaces up. Mason pulls his way through the middle.
Anthony Mason.
Mason now with 11. But the lead is 25 as we are at 2 minutes of the third quarter.
Shaq's going to get a technical here. He was upset with Anthony Mason.
There it
just
is.
Threw him out of the post.
And he gets a technical foul.
He felt that Anthony Mason had his hands on him, so he just took his arm and threw him away. When he did, he was called a foul and then technical. Let's watch it right here. You see Anthony Mason writing him out. Shaq says enough of that. And Anthony Mason looks like a little kid next to Shaq, and this guy's one of the strongest guys in the NBA.
Well, Shaq gets the offensive foul, plus he gets the technical foul. Shaq's going to take a seat. He sits down with 36 points in the ball game. Harper shoots the technical.
See, Shaquille the other night against Sacramento, they had such a big lead, played no minutes in the fourth quarter. I remember the one year when Chicago really had their great year. Michael Jordan set out numerous fourth quarters.
Yeah.
And boy, that's great for a guy's career. If you can have that kind of team where you can put people away at the end of 3 and be able, that's less minutes and wear and tear on you during the course of the season.
And it also gives your younger players and some bench players the opportunity to get some minutes.
This will be a foul because it's Tree Rollins.
Yeah, that's right.
Tree was going to get the foul.
Foul number 30, Tree
Well,
Rollins.
fouls on Tree. That's his third personal foul. Just a reminder, if you want to keep watching this, we hope you do. But if you don't, turn over in just a couple of minutes and see the Inside the NBA with Bob Lorenz. He'll have scores and highlights from tonight's action. Plus, we'll take a look at the Rockets' quest to repeat. And hear from Chris Webber on the Washington Fans coming up next following our game.
You know, you want to get an idea of the size of Anthony Hardaway. Monty Williams is standing beside him. And Monty Williams, they list him at 6'7", and they list Hardaway at 6'7", and beside each other, Hardaway looks about 2 inches bigger, and that's your point guard. Look at them beside each other.
Patrick's first 2 free throws. Second one is no good. It was in the cylinder. Offensive interference will go the other way with it.
One of those nights.
Well, I tell you what, you talked about how Orlando thought the key to tonight's game was coming out quickly. They did it, and it's never been the same since.
Foul number 14, Anthony Mason.
Well, Anthony Mason's whistle for the foul.
See, that's something last year that they were allowed to get away with. Man made a cut off the post. Guy steps out and bangs him. This year it's a foul. You're not allowed to step out of your way and bump cutters. Anthony Mason says, I didn't do anything other than put my body on it, but you cannot step out and impede a player's progress by putting your body in his path when he's on the move.
And here's Anthony Hardaway. Second in Rookie of the Year voting last year to, of course, Chris Webber, who won the award. Gained about 12 pounds in the offseason, hit the weights. Had some problems with turnovers the past couple of games, but it doesn't seem to bother Brian Hill.
Worked hard on his free throw shooting, too, in the offseason. You know, last year he shot it at about a 74% clip. This year, 83. He had his right hand on the ball, and he didn't have it spaced out quite enough, and they spread his fingers, and his free throw shooting is much better now.
Well, here comes Brian Shaw into the lineup, and sitting down, I think it's going to be Nick Anderson. So Nick Anderson leaves the ball game with only 4 points, but the defensive job he did on John Starks the first 2 quarters is where he earned his pay tonight. And he will take a seat. Now it is Bonner guarding Anthony Hardaway. That is an interesting matchup.
Tree's got this jump hook. Let's see this jump hook you got, Tree. I saw that about 17 years ago.
There's the outside shot by Hardaway. It's a 3, his 3rd 3 of the ball game. I was going to say, Tree told us today, don't call me old, call me seasoned veteran. 30 now for Hardaway. What a bonus for Brian Hill. He doesn't expect Anthony Hardaway to get to 30 plus, but last week he averaged 32 a game. Patrick rattles it home. His 5th point of the second half, 15 of the ball game now for Patrick. But he's only 7 of 18 now from the floor. Final 40 of the 3rd quarter. 10 to shoot. Bonner, not much resistance. Bowie tried to slap it alive, but the Knicks will have it with 24 left on the shot and the game clock. And a technical foul is called on Anthony Avent. No.
Technical foul number 00.
Yeah, Anthony Avent just was whistled for the technical foul, and referee Jimmy Clark told him to don't say anything, and now Brian Shaw's pulling him away. So Shaq has a technical. Anthony Avent has a technical here in the 3rd.
Derek Harper will shoot,
Derek Harper will shoot the tee. Well, I tell you what, they're the Magic team really getting hot Anthony Avent about that time.
I like that, though. I like that when a team gets together. I think that shows real leadership, and you hold each other accountable as a team. And when the coach says something, it's criticism. And when a player on your team says something, it's leadership. And I think it's important for players to hold each other accountable and responsible. This is the way we're going to play the game. You're not guarding your man, guard your guy. You're not rebounding, rebound. That's the way great teams are born. It can't all come from the coach.
Yeah, Brian Hill talked about that today. He said a lot is done in the locker room, and he likes that, especially with Horace Grant.
We have to have the security as a coach, too, that you release some of that to your team and say, look, let's let these guys have some responsibility for being good.
Monty Williams. Ewing over Tree Rollins, short, and that is the way the 3rd quarter will end. But it is all the Orlando Magic again. The 24-point halftime lead is now up to 26. Shaquille 16 in the 3rd, Hardaway 13 in the 3rd. 29 of the Magic's 33 points. In the last 6 games, the Knicks have played well defensively, but not the case tonight.
$2 million a month for the operations and names of every undercover agent in the world.
Paramount Pictures presents...
These people are killers.
Wesley Snipes.
You leave the cop stuff to me.
Gary Busey.
This is gonna be a snap.
In the year's most exciting thriller.
You are way out of your league.
You're dismissed.
Drop Zone. Rated R. Starts Friday, December 9th at theaters everywhere. Instead of making a car for the 5% of the public who can afford a $35,000 luxury sedan, we created the all-new Chevrolet Lumina for everybody. We asked thousands of people what they were looking for in a new mid-size sedan. Turns out what they wanted were the comfort and features you usually find in more expensive sedans. So we built them into the new Lumina. We just didn't charge extra for them. That's what makes the new Lumina a genuine Chevrolet.
Where in the world would you go if there were no Las Vegas? You could turn the pages of history or fantasy. But if you want to be a part of it, there's just one place where there are new resorts, entertainment, and excitement you've never seen before. Only in Las Vegas.
This holiday, trust Napa to keep your vehicle running and help you save. Get a Napa toy truck with battery-operated powerboat for only $16.99. A locking plier set, toolbox, or step stool toolbox combo, each just $14.99. And Chilton repair manuals for a low $13.99 each. So stop by your nearest Napa Auto Parts store today. You never know who you run into.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Let's put our bonus game to bed. Phoenix comes from 23 down in the first half to beat Boston. About 30 seconds to go. Celtics down 4, and their last chance slips away when Charles Barkley strips Dino Radja, and the longtime Celtic Danny Ainge delivers the final nail in a 107-102 Phoenix win over Boston. The Suns continue their 7-game trip in Detroit tomorrow night. They're back to Disney World.
Thank you, Ernie Johnson. O'Neal and Hardaway have combined for 66 points. That's only 5 less than the entire New York Knicks team has scored through 3 quarters of play. And O'Neal will start the 4th. With 6 to shoot, Shaq dips up underneath, loses the handle. That is a bobble, I think. Nope, they're going to call traveling.
I'm a little surprised that Shaquille is in the game right now. He and Anthony Hardaway. This is a 26-point game. And basically New York has pulled their starters. And I'm a little surprised that these guys are in the game right now. Brian Hill better be very concerned not let one of these guys twist an ankle here in garbage time.
Well, Brian Hill was talking to us today. He said, listen, even if we win tonight, the series is still only 1 game apiece. The traveling called on Doc Rivers has checked into the lineup. He said it doesn't make any difference until we start playing this well in April. And he has a very logical and a very good perspective on this basketball team, even if they should beat New York tonight.
It's important they win the season series, though. And they have 3 of the games here. The next 2 will be here also, and the 5th one will be in Madison Square Garden. If they win the series 3-2, that would be a tiebreaker with these 2 teams tied.
Shaw from 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Brian Shaw, who had career best last year from the arc as he made more threes in the previous 4 years combined. He's picking up where he left off. Herb Williams now into the lineup. Bonner inside, throws it over the top of the backboard. Orlando has it.
Over the top, Magic Ball.
Just a reminder, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, we'll have the Rockets and the Sonics. Gary Bender and Hubie Brown will be calling all the action, so tune in again Tuesday night. Of course, we still have basketball tonight and with Inside the NBA following this game. Hardaway. He wants Player of the Week next week, too, doesn't he?
He wants Player of the Week tonight.
Doc Rivers looking for his first points of the year, doesn't get him. Shaq.
Look at that. Are you serious?
Goodness gracious. Oh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That was a Magic Johnson play there. I mean, are you kidding me? Benny, I've seen it all.
Holy cow. I tell you what, this young man.
What a play, Ron. That was sensational. That is incredible.
Oh, man. And I got a feeling we're going to replay this thing. I got a feeling we're going to replay this. Watch this again, folks.
I wish you could see me because I'm bowing on this play. Look at this play. Throws it ahead to Anthony Bowie. The ball's going out of bounds, and he saves it point blank right on the numbers. What a great play.
And I just looked at Brian Hill. He looked at Anthony Hardaway, and he said, that was just like magic.
Is that what he said?
He said that was just like magic.
That's what it reminded me of. What I was thinking of, what a great coaching that was on Brian Hill, how they've worked to develop that in Anthony Hardaway.
Yeah, Brian will take the credit. No problem. Yeah, I think that was a play on the board,
yeah.
right? Our producer, so I can't know.
My goodness, Gray, that was great. I tell you, you got a 30-point game and a guy makes a play like that. I guess that's why he's still in the game.
I guess. I tell you, the dunk in that is just unbelievable tonight. Shaquille with his hook, and he keeps rolling.
I want to tell you what, you know, this Magic team is incredible. I did not believe they would be this good this soon.
38 points, 10 rebounds. Shaquille shooting 16 for 23. And watch the body contact this man has to endure. He's big, but he takes his share of shots.
Starts to go, and Mason just holds him up, and he spins back with the jump hook. You know, Ron, one of the things we need to talk about a little bit here, though, is Orlando now is going to go through a growth process where they're going to become the darlings of the NBA. A lot like the Chicago Bulls used to be, and the Lakers, and the Showtime, and the Celtics, and now it becomes a maturity level where when you go places, you go to take care of business, because I'm telling you, in the hotels, at the buses, in the airports, everywhere, people are going to be following this team around, and they're going to have to make sure they keep themselves geared to what they have to do.
Well, Shaq's coming out, Doug, like you thought he probably would, and he's going to get a nice round of applause. But the distractions that, you know, we talk about in the NBA, there are so many, and as a player, Doug, I mean, did you ever have a problem with it, or did you have some of your teammates that you had to pull aside and said, hey, you know, enough is enough?
Well, you know, I played on a team that's very much like the Orlando Magic.
Right.
I mean, Julius Erving and myself and World B. Free and George McGinnis and Maurice Cheeks, Bobby Jones, I mean, great players. And you learn that you just go and do the work and get out of there.
Anthony Mason. Shaking and moving, blocked by Anthony Avent. Williams has his shot blocked. And then Tree Rollins commits the foul. So on a per-minute basis, Tree is leading in fouls. That's his fifth.
Anthony Mason with a jump hook in the lane. A great block again by Anthony Avent. Monty Williams active on the offensive boards, doesn't get it to go. And then there's the foul by Tree Rollins. So we're going to get a chance here to see Monty Williams.
There's the numbers on Shaquille tonight. Not bad for a guy that has a new rap album out. Shaq Fu, The Return, has a video game out, and a line of Kenner toys for those of you looking for that special Christmas present this year.
Say, I'd never really heard Shaq's CD before, but I was riding around with my son in the car the other day, and he popped in the CD and the song about his father and all. Man, that really touched me. That was really
Biological didn't bother.
Oh, that was a tremendous. He was speaking from the heart, and you know, being a father and having a son really makes you think about those things.
He's getting a lot of compliments for that, and the video is outstanding. Of course, it's a song about how his biological father really didn't spend time with him, and Philip Harrison, his adopted father, if you will, has made him into a man. Anthony Bowie from the University of Oklahoma with a 2. Bowie with 4 in a ball game, playing in the final year of his contract.
I'm still surprised Anthony Hardaway's on the floor right now with 8:40 to go, and they're up 30-something. Nick Anderson's coming back.
Herb Williams can't get it. The tip, Monty Williams.
Monty Williams.
See, Nick Anderson's coming in the game right now, and I'm looking over, and his body language is like, I really don't want to go back in the game. Right. That's when you have to be very careful you don't get hurt.
Because you start playing tentatively.
You're a step behind because, you know, you feel the game is over. You have to really be careful.
4 points from Anderson.
That's how you get hurt. Now, if I'm Brian Hill right now, my heart is in my throat right now.
And a double technical foul on both Monty Williams and on Anthony Hardaway. But boy, Doug, he was up there.
This is how you really get hurt. This is how you, because you're airborne and you've got no place to go. It's a great give back by Anthony Bowie. But watch, once you leave your feet, now you got no place to go. And the greatness of him as an athlete was able to get his feet underneath him. That's one of those you fall on your elbow or your wrist or the back of your neck or your head or something, and you get yourself hurt. So that's when Anthony Hardaway's got to look and say, wait a second, we're up 30 points. I don't need this play. Let me pull this out. I've already made all the sensational plays I need to make tonight. Let's save some for the highlight film for later on in the year. And I'm not trying to be critical, but it's a growing up process.
Right. Well, you know, it was a double technical, and Anthony Hardaway right after the block as Williams came from behind. The foul, by the way, was on Herb Williams, but Monty Williams was going for the block, and Anthony Hardaway got in his face and started talking to him about it. Well, then the double technicals, and Tree Rollins immediately grabbed Anthony Hardaway, pulled him off to the side, and was in his face again. A little patrolman out there in Tree Rollins.
We had a game in Atlanta one night, and I was playing for the Sixers, and Tree Rollins got mad, and we were having a fight. I wasn't in a fight. I was running the other way.
I was going to say, where were you?
Tree Rollins was chasing Lionel Hollins around. I mean, it was like comical. He was so upset. I mean, I'd never seen Tree so mad before. And I also did the game in the Boston Garden when he was with the Hawks, where Danny Ainge almost bit his finger off when they got into it. So I've seen Tree get angry.
I can't imagine Tree angry. He's just such a docile guy.
Ask Hubie Brown who he'd like to have if he got into a situation where he needed a big guy to control things for him. He'll take Tree in about a heartbeat.
Oh, I bet that. Doc Rivers with his first points since back in December of 1993. Was able to play a couple of preseason games. Only 1 of 10 though from the floor. We've got an illegal defense against the Knicks, and it's a technical foul. Nick Anderson has been sitting a long time since we first mentioned he was coming back in.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Brooks Thompson. There's about 7 minutes, 24 seconds to go, and get him a little run out there as rookie. Had a terrific career at Oklahoma State.
Past the finals along with you. Anthony Hardaway hits the...
And Dennis Scott also. We have not seen Dennis Scott.
Dennis Scott just activated the other night as Penny Hardaway will sit down. What a night for Hardaway.
Anthony Hardaway, if this young man stays healthy, what these fans are in for down here for about the next 8 to 10 years, the excitement that he's going to bring. I remember last year, 2 years ago at the draft, I talked about Anthony Hardaway. I loved him in college, and I just thought he was going to be a sensational pro.
33 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists for Hardaway. That's NBA Player of the Week material. Bowie doesn't get it. Rebound controlled by Bonner. Brooks Thompson's over there probably feeling a little anxious now going, Coach, you know I'm here.
That's where you slide down and sit by the coach. Yeah, you bump him. Yeah, I used to have a guy, Jack Haley, when he was a rookie. He's, Coach, I'm ready. I'm ready. One night he took his jacket off and hit me with the zipper, almost blinded me. He was so excited to get into the game. I said, Jack, I know you're here.
Then he went in for 30 seconds and shot 6 times, right?
He got some shots up. He always got in the box score. I knew that was going to happen.
Jack, I kid you because I can. That's why I do it. Monty Williams, nice ball fake inside. Herb Williams has it rejected by Big Tree Rollins, but there's a foul.
Foul number 30, Tree Rollins.
Well, Tree's going to have a short evening. That is 6 on Orlando. Tree Rollins, but Orlando calls a timeout. 6:53 left in this ball game. The Magic about to make it 11-2 on the year.
A new motion picture from TNT. Jacob premieres Sunday.
Jim was the leader of the pack, and they were looking for adventure.
Jim, breaking in those new bikes, huh? Thought you two could use a cold one.
Thanks.
Ah, ice cold O'Doul's. Non-alcohol and only 70 calories. Perfect for a real road warrior like Jim.
When you want refreshing beer taste in a non-alcohol brew, think O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer.
I got a foul.
Foul?
Right here.
It wouldn't have been a foul if you made the
First one
shot.
I've called, man. Come on. Still game point. Okay, ready? What is this, your mother coming to get you in here? See that? In the NBA, some guy starts talking about your mama, you don't listen up. You stay right here. My mother, my father, my dog, my brothers and sisters, I'm all about the game. Baby,
We got it.
you better get hungry, you're not gonna be there with me.
This holiday season, more people will trust Napa to keep their vehicles running and to help them save, too. Pick up this Napa toy truck with battery-operated powerboat for just $16.99. A 56-piece home tool set, only $29.99. And a 22-piece screwdriver set for a low $14.99. So stop by your nearest Napa Auto Parts store today. You never know who you'll run into.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
the Magic lead by 31, 6:53 remaining in the game. We're going to talk to you about the making of the Magic and how you have to have a little luck and you have to be smart with who you draft. And the Magic have done both of those things. You see, Nick Anderson was the first pick of this franchise. He was the 11th pick. Dennis Scott the 4th. Shaquille the 1st. Anthony Hardaway the 3rd. And Horace Grant as a free agent was the 10th pick in the draft. And Ron, what you also see is if you can't get one of the top 10 or 11 players in the draft, and it's very, very difficult to build through the draft, and the Magic have done that. They've done a great job with it. Good foresight, great free agent signings, and if everybody stays healthy, for the next 7-8 years, this could be an unbelievably successful place to be.
The Boss family, the owners of this team, have done a nice job leading it. And this man, you know, it's funny, Doug, we saw with Pat Riley with the Lakers, he had such great players. Even if Brian Hill would probably go 80-2 this year, people would say, well, look at the players he had, you know, but I think he's done a nice job of massaging the egos and trying to keep everybody in line, because that's a difficult task along with the actual X's and O's.
Great coaches do a great job coaching great players. You don't win championships without great players. So you could say the same thing about Riley in Los Angeles, or Phil Jackson in Chicago, or Chuck Daly in Detroit, or Billy Cunningham in Philadelphia. You've got to have great players, and then you've got to do a good job of bringing out the best of their abilities, and that's the sign of a great coach.
We were talking, I think, this morning about how long this NBA season is and the ups and downs the team goes through, and you're a babysitter, a psychologist, and a coach. Mason with 3 to shoot, throws it away. Rollins, by the way, the foul is taken away and given to Anthony Avent, so he's still in the ballgame.
Tree is going to be proud of that. He got him a steal.
There you go. He's in the books. He was activated. In fact, we had his first game back last January when he took off the tie and the sports coat, put the uniform back on. 6 to shoot for the Magic. Doc Rivers, nice steal. Doc goes up, doesn't get it, but we have a foul on Nick Anderson.
Foul number 25, Nick Anderson. His second penalty situation in effect.
Well, Magic shooting 61% on the night, the Knicks 38%. And how do you do that? You play good defense, you rebound, and you get out and you get in the open floor and you get some easy scores, because when you get into a half-court game with New York, it becomes very, very difficult to score. And Orlando did everything tonight, either in their primary offense off the break or in their secondary break, and they scored at will.
Only 15 points from Ewing. You saw him on the bench. Doc Rivers now with 5 in the ball game. And here comes Jeff Turner up off the bench for the Magic. Jeff Turner coming off a very serious knee injury, and this is difficult for him. He's been sitting for 2 hours, and to come in, he has to be careful.
His knee feels about like mine right now, probably. I can't imagine trying to run. There's the 3. They got it. He got it.
Oh, my. He and Bonner are just kind of exchanging words, but it's very good-natured.
Broke Dennis Scott's record. Dennis Scott had scored a 3-pointer in 12 straight games. That's 13 straight for Nick Anderson.
Bonner, the turnaround, doesn't get it, the foul on the play.
Foul number 25, Nick Anderson. His third penalty situation in effect.
This is a
substitution number 31, Jeff Turner.
That's an NBA 3 from last year. That's a 25-footer.
The average 3-point attempts, Nick Anderson right in there along with John Starks.
You know, when you think of the Magic this year, one of the weaknesses, I guess, if they have a weakness, would be the fact that they're 19th in 3-point field goals made this year. Now, one of the reasons is because Dennis Scott's not playing, so Nick Anderson has been the guy to shoot a lot of the threes. You get Dennis Scott back, those numbers will go way up.
Now the lead 112-83. The Magic will up their win streak to 9. They will be 11-2 on the year, best start in franchise history. Knicks fall to 3-4 on the road, 7-5 overall. Anderson has it rejected by Bonner. Doc Rivers tried to save it. Ball belongs to the Knicks. 5 minutes left to be played in this ball game. The Magic lead at 112-83. Now let's go back to our studios in Atlanta with Ernie Johnson with a little bonus coverage. Ernie, it's all yours.
Thank you, Ron. We'll move from the Atlantic Division to the Central Division. It's been a struggle for the Atlanta Hawks. They've only won 2 games on the road. Their record overall 4-9. And those road wins came against Minnesota and the Clippers, so I guess they still count. Bonus coverage from the United Center as the Hawks lead the Bulls in the 4th. Tim Brando and Mike Glenn.
Not sure if they were still in the trap or back to a straight man-to-man.
Atlanta has turned it over 15 times. Dickie Simpkins has checked into the game. He started the game against Phoenix the other night. Harper with a leaner. Simpkins over the back, and he'll earn that one against Andrew Lang. Rookie out of Providence. Same school.
His first, the team's third.
That can gratefully tout Lenny Wilkins as
replacing Steve Smith,
a member of their alumni. Let's take a look at our Head and Shoulders NBA scoreboard. Phoenix coming from behind and beating Boston tonight. They were down big early in that game. Blaylock.
Yes, very nice looking pull-up. The hard dribble that got him into his jump shot, and he knocked that one down with good legs underneath.
67-62. So the Bulls have Kukoc, Foster, Steve Kerr. That'll be a foul against Tyrone Corbin. Dickie Simpkins and Ron Harper on the floor. Atlanta now coming back in the 4th with Norman, Corbin, Lang, Blaylock, and Elo. The same lineup, really, Stinger, that was the catalyst for them in the second quarter when they made their comeback.
You're right, and now the matchup where they switched back off, Tyrone Corbin is guarding Kukoc, a better defender than Ken Norman.
Norman brings it down. Blaylock blows past Kerr, who took a chance on the steal. The dump down to Lang, over Foster.
Andrew takes it to the hoop.
That left hand baby hook is really his best offensive move.
It is. It's a very good weapon, and defenders play him to his right and makes it a little easier shot for him.
Simpkins stripped by Elo.
Norman ahead of the pack.
Corbin missed the chippy. Norman keeping it alive. And the foul against Craig Elo. Remember that trip, folks, because had Atlanta gotten a 9 or 10-point lead.
Wow, the bonus coverage machine in danger of overheating tonight. We've taken it to Washington, Boston, and now Chicago. The Hawks with a 7-point fourth-quarter lead. Back to Ron Thulin.
Ernie, we had those numbers in the 3rd quarter, and those guys are in the 4th. Hey, the last time the Knicks lost by 30 was back in the 86-87 season. They're on the verge of adding to that little mark. They trail now by 27 points. Brooks Thompson into the lineup, the rookie out of Oklahoma State, has just hit a 3. That is his 2nd of his career in the NBA. Throw the ball over to us. We have no desire to pick it up.
Brooks Thompson looked and said, did us at least try to catch it.
Visiting with Brooks, played at Texas A&M under Shelby Metcalf first couple of years, then transferred up to Oklahoma State, where he played 2 years. And here's Thompson.
I liked his game in college. I thought he had great hands, can shoot the ball. He was sort of a guy I thought was going to be a good NBA player. I think he's got a chance. Got good range on his jump shot.
Turned around by Aved. Mason gets a piece of it, doesn't like it. Joe Forte throws a technical on Anthony Mason, a frustration technical. So Derek Harper has picked up a flagrant foul. Anthony Mason a technical. Monty Williams a technical. Shaquille a technical. And Anthony Aved a technical. We've had a lot of few. And Anthony Hardaway a technical. So we've had a few tonight.
Jeff Turner shooting the technical.
And Jeff Turner will be at the line. And he makes the technical. So with 2:56 left to be played in the ball game, it's all on Magic time.
New York time.
117-89 our score. 2:56 left to be played in the ball game. A couple of other baseball players. We've seen Frank Viola. How about Lou Piniella looking rather dapper again this evening? Just a reminder, immediately following our game, we'll have Inside the NBA with Bob Lorenz. Scores and highlights. Recap of that game we're seeing tonight. Plus a look at the Houston Rockets. All coming up. Bob Lorenz is standing by with that. Here's the man tonight. Fans were cheering during the break. Who's the man? In reference to Patrick Ewing saying, I'm still the man in the NBA, not Shaquille. Avent now with 3. Of course, we'll be talking with Anthony Hardaway at the end of the ball game. Stay with us for that. Talk about his maturing process. Avent was 5 of 9 from the stripe coming into the night. 7 of 11 tonight. He's a lucky guy.
You know, Ron, I look over at Pat Riley, and I wonder what's going through his mind right now. He has that look on his face like, I've got to get this in order real soon. It's sort of that pensive look that I've seen so often in Pat Riley. He's such a perfectionist. And you can just see in those eyes that he does not like what he's seen here tonight. He's not like what he's seen in his team over the last couple weeks. And he's got to find a way to restore that vigor that they've had over the last few years.
He told me once that if he doesn't win a championship in New York, his book title, which is called The Winner Within, will be called The Winner Without. That eats at him. I'm sure he's not watching this game right now. He's thinking about tomorrow. And they've been here since early Wednesday morning. They flew after their game Tuesday night, spent some time over Disney World, just gave the guys some relaxation time.
The window of opportunity starts closing on a team like New York.
Oh, yes.
Patrick Ewing's knees, Oakley, the minutes. You've got Derek Harper. This is not a young team. And when you look at teams like Orlando on the horizon, you'd have to think that if New York's going to get it done, this might be the year they're going to have to do it.
Dennis Scott rejected by Bonner. Brooks Thompson comes up with a steal. Nice play by the rookie. Then he loses it, gets it back. A heady ball player. They're cheering at Eskimo Joe's in Stillwater right now. Scott to Bowie. Turner for 3.
They got some mad bombers on this Orlando team right now. They got 4 guys out there who will shoot threes. Anthony Bowie, Brooks Thompson, Dennis Scott, Jeff Turner.
2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes.
Monty Williams, the quick pass to Herb Williams. 10 to shoot for the Knicks. Rivers on Thompson. Rebound controlled by Avent.
There's one of those mad bombers right there.
Dennis Scott draining his first 3 of the year, his first points of the 94-95 season.
And the guy leading the cheers was Shaquille O'Neal. That's his buddy.
Well, it is a 31-point lead. If it continues, it'll break the record since 86-87.
Number 22, Brooks Thompson.
Thompson with a foul, so he's officially in the books with a 3-pointer plus a foul.
Rivers at the line, shooting 2.
Oh, it's good to see Doc Rivers back in uniform, Doug. You know, he's always been a favorite of everybody's when he played with the Atlanta Hawks for all those years. 8 years with the Hawks, a year with the Clippers, his 3rd year now with the Knicks.
I told Doc, I said, you know, you could become the Bill Cartwright of the guards. You could be this guy who, because of your knowledge and what the experience you can bring to a team, like for playoffs, if you could just keep yourself healthy enough to be in good shape to go into the playoffs, you give a team a great luxury to have a guy like you, and I think he's looking forward to that happening here with New York.
Monty Williams, a nice looking move by the rookie out of Notre Dame.
I liked him coming out of the draft. I thought that had he not had his heart condition, he would have probably been a lottery pick. I think he's got that kind of talent. I was down at Duke last year when he hit them for 34 points against some pretty good defense.
Sat out 90-91, 91-92 with that heart condition. Doctors say it's okay to play. It's a thickening of the arteries in the heart. A lot of controversy, though, surrounding his ability to play and whether or not he should or not. And the controversy really continues. Well, they're playing another one bites the dust, and for good reason, because the Orlando Magic have never trailed in this basketball game.
They got off to a great start. It was a high-energy start for them. They trying to avenge the earlier 2-point loss in Madison Square Garden, and they've come out and played terrific basketball tonight.
Dennis Scott launches the 3. Avent can't come up with it. It's a 27-point Orlando advantage. Anthony Bonner says, I can do this myself, and Turner commits the foul, and Bonner wipes out a roll of photographers.
These guys got more courage than I do in a 30-point game, taking the ball to the basket at the end of the game. That normally becomes a jump shooter's delight. Like, I'm not going to foul you, you don't foul me, as long as you just shoot jump shots.
Yeah, that's right.
If you try to take the ball to the basket, I'm going to have to foul you because coach will say something to me.
Did you notice the TNT camera? We moved. We got out of the way. They wiped out the other guys. Our guys are smart. They don't want to get hurt down there.
15 just set. 90 shot. Right? Hey, I'm not going to be on.
Bonner makes good with 38.9 left, a 122-97 game. Orlando will play in Atlanta tomorrow night. They will board their charter immediately following this game, play the Hawks. It's a sellout.
So they got some three-point launchers
well,
now.
I tell you, they haven't taken one inside of 3, have they, in the last 2 minutes? This one won't end soon enough for the Knicks.
Oh, great shot.
Nice shot. Monty Williams again.
That was a great slashing move into the lane. Used the right hand. Used the spin off the glass in traffic. That's a nice play. Every minute for a rookie counts. And this is a great little slicing move off the glass. Good reverse English to use the backboard. But every time you get a chance as a rookie to get on the floor, you make it productive. There is no garbage time. You play to your strengths. Don't get caught up into a helter-skelter game. And I had a chance to talk to him before the game, and he was very fortunate to play for a guy like John McLeod at Notre Dame, who has prepared him to be an NBA player.
Well, he's got his new career high tonight. Young Monty Williams, 7 points. Well, the lead is up to 25, and it really isn't indicative how this game has gone as Pat Riley walks off the court before the game's even over. That is it. 125 to 100 is the score. It was all Orlando Magic. And tonight's Budweiser player of the game is that man right there. Anthony Hardaway, our Bud Light player of the game. 33 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. We'll be talking to Anthony Hardaway in just a minute. We'll be back with more from the Arena in Orlando in a moment.
Introducing Ford Contour. Gold, a world car for the 21st century. Example, elevating safety. Begin with a steel safety shell. Add standard dual airbags and seats specially designed to hold you securely in place. Then offer anti-lock braking and all-speed traction control. An exclusive in this class. The totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century.
According to these calculations, can't be. I don't believe it. A new star!
Hey, Jack, you see my watch?
Nope.
Introducing Loris LumaBright watches. Each one glows brightly for hours with no buttons to push and no extra batteries required.
I'm gonna be famous.
Loris LumaBright watches. A new star is born.
Only those with superhuman ability may enter my court. I got next. Dare to continue.
38 for Shaquille O'Neal, but 33 big ones for Anthony Hardaway as the Magic extend their win streak tonight. 125 to 100 our final. Anthony Hardaway joins us. First of all, Anthony, back on November 10th when you played the Knicks, you lost that ball game, but Brian Hill really feels that that was a turning point in your career in this second season, that you started to play defense and you started to play an overall game. Do you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. You know, when Ewing got that shot down on the baseline, you know, that just killed us right there. I mean, we had a last-second shot that we missed, but, you know, if we would have played defense for the entire 12 minutes of the fourth quarter instead of giving a defensive letdown, then we would have won the game. So we just, you know, we took that and then just used it to our advantage.
Ron, I have to disagree with that. I think it was the defense we slapped on him in that rookie all-star game last year that sent him to work on his game this summer. Anthony, tremendous play tonight, and just marvel at what an all-round player you've become. I mean, shooting, passing, and maybe you can talk about this dunk here over Patrick Ewing.
Well, I didn't think Patrick was going to jump. I thought that he was going to try to get the ball from Shaquille, and then I just jumped, and he jumped and posted.
Can you talk about how much fun you have playing this game? You know, the one thing that I look at your Orlando team is you have guys who love to play basketball. Is that fair to say?
Definitely. I think with the addition of Horace and Brian, they brought this attitude to us that you know, winning is everything. I mean, we can't go out there and be lackadaisical against anybody. And we not only play the Knicks and the Rockets hard, we play the Sacramento Kings, you know, and all those guys hard. Unlike last year, we played the Knicks very hard, and then we go in the game and be very lackadaisical against a team that we didn't think that was over 500. So, you know, this year we're having a lot of fun. We're playing defense, and that's what started it off.
Penny, is it too much to expect that you guys could possibly win a championship this year? Is that too much to ask of you guys?
I don't think it's too much to ask, but we still have a lot of work to do. You know, we're playing great right now. You know, it's still early, and we know tonight, we beat a great team in the Knicks. You know, that's one of the teams that you have to go through to get to that championship. And we know they're going to be there at the end. You know, we still haven't played Cleveland, we haven't played Indiana, Chicago. We play Atlanta tomorrow, so we really can't, get as happy as we want to get until the end of the season is here.
Talk about this pass, exactly what you were thinking when the ball was going out of bounds. Did you see Anthony Bouya hit?
Yeah, I saw him the first time. I thought Shaquille was going to hit him, so as soon as I got my hand on it, I just tried to throw it to him.
All right, Anthony Hardaway, a tremendous game tonight, and you gave everybody across America a real sense of what this Orlando Magic team is about and what you're about.
This is a great basketball player right here, a basketball player.
All right, Anthony Hardaway, congratulations as the Orlando Magic winner by 25. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Ron. And folks, this week on Wednesday night, all the home teams won. On Thursday night, all the road teams won. Tonight, an intriguing mix of the two. As we go to the board one more time, and we see Phoenix coming back from 23 down in the first half, beat Boston 107-102 despite 34 from Dominique Wilkins. Detroit was up by 15 over Washington at one point, but the Bullets came back and snapped a 6-game losing streak, 115-104. Grant Hill had a career-high 28. Chris Webber, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 stitches after an elbow from Grant Hill. Philadelphia beat Sacramento 99-96. Willie Burton scored 25. Mitch Richmond had 30 for the Kings. It was Miami over New Jersey 115-97. Glenn Rice was unconscious, 14 out of 18 from the floor, 5 out of 7 from three-point range for his 34 points. With about 4.5 minutes to go at the United Center in Chicago, it's a dead heat. The Hawks and the Bulls knotted up at 73. They've gone to the second period in Portland, and the Blazers are leading the Spurs by a deuce and just about to tip it off at the Great Western Forum. The Lakers, who have won 5 of their last 6, taking on the Rockets, who have won 2 straight. And inside the NBA comes your way next. Of course, so many highlights you'll be begging Bob Lorenz to stop. And much, much more on Inside the NBA here on TNT tonight. 125-100, the Magic all over the Knicks. Ron and Doug with more right after this.
Rocket Sonics Tuesday at 8 on TNT.
Jim was the leader of the pack, and they were looking for adventure.
Jim, breaking in those new bikes, huh? Thought you two could use a cold one.
Thanks.
Ice cold O'Doul's. Non-alcohol and only 70 calories. Perfect for a real road warrior like Jim.
When you want refreshing beer taste in a non-alcohol brew, think O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer.
When is a minivan not a minivan? When you turn old thinking upside down and make it longer and wider for a smoother, secure ride. Next is safety with a capital S, making it the only minivan that combines standard dual airbags, 5-mile-an-hour bumpers, and anti-lock brakes, which should suit you to a T. And erase any idea that the new Ford Windstar is just another minivan. The future belongs to Windstar.
So, what's the newest thing from Foot Locker? It's a chance to vote for which NBA players go to the All-Star game, to go to All-Star Weekend in Phoenix with 3 of your friends, to take a 3-point shot for $1 million. $1 million. Thank you, Foot Locker. Because the newest thing from Foot Locker is the $1 Million Shot Sweepstakes, and the official NBA balloting headquarters is right where you'd expect it to be. Foot Locker, where it all begins.
If you're looking for a reliable place to service your car or truck, I've got great news for you. It's a Pep Boys Automotive Super Center. No matter what you drive, their ASC certified technicians are here when you need them, day or night, even on Sunday. For Raybestos brakes, TRW rack and pinion repair, diagnostic tune-ups, even air conditioning. For dealer quality service at prices you can afford, come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
The NBA on TNT is brought to you by O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Once again, the final score, 125-100. The Magic have now won 9 straight. NBA action continues Tuesday on TNT as the Houston Rockets take on the Seattle Supersonics at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And stay tuned next for Inside the NBA with Bob Lorenz. Once again, the final score, the Orlando Magic win it 125-100. For Doug Collins and our entire crew in Orlando, Florida, I'm Ralph Thulin. Thanks for watching, and good night, everybody.